From Pittsburgh's historic South Side, it's a historic night at Highmark Stadium. For the first time in 15 years, the Riverhounds Soccer Club has advanced in the USL's postseason after a 7-0 drubbing of Birmingham last week. Their opponent for the first November match in team history, why, it's the two-time defending USL Cup champs in Louisville City FC. The boys in purple are in town after increasing their playoff win streak to 9 last Saturday, edging Tampa Bay at home at Slugger Field. I'm Matt Geico alongside Paul Child. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. As I mentioned, historic, but there you see, it's been chalk in the first round in the Eastern Conference bracket in the USL Championship. On the other side, it's Nashville and Indy 2v3, and Pittsburgh, which finished on top of the table for the first time in its modern USL history, facing the two-time champs. Last week, Paul, it was about offense, even though it was another clean sheet for the Hounds, who have made a name in doing that in the past 2 seasons. 7 goals, set a team record for any competition, and Nico Brett had 4 of them. He's already the team's all-time postseason goal leader. He showed every tool he has in his bag last Saturday.
Oh, Nico Brett was on fire, Matt, and you're going to see right here, it seemed everything he hit was going to go on target. It's going to go in the back of the net. Here he got a little bit of a break from the defender, caught him, it went in the back of the net. DeSantos hits a first-time ball, gets it back, sends it across again, and Nico Brett redirects it, puts it in the back of the net. Tremendous on the ball. Anywhere in the box, we know he's deadly. This one was really a good goal. You know, he just took a great shot without a swing.
From a standstill, Nico gets his 4th, setting Hounds history and establishing a new mark in the playoffs in USL history. As for Louisville, well, speaking of clinical, Paul, Magnus Rasmussen, the 4th-year Louisville City attacker from Denmark. It just took 90 seconds for him to score 2 in the first half during a torrential downpour in Kentucky. That was enough to get Lou City through.
Yeah, this was a good shot, hit the defender, got a redirection and beat the goalkeeper pretty easy.
2 teams that can definitely take advantage of their opportunities. The Hounds haven't lost at home since 2018. Louisville, one of the best teams on the road in the USL Championship over the past 3 seasons, and like we said, they have the championship in their possession. We'll see what happens. It's going to be awesome. Thanks for joining us tonight on ESPN+.
Spend a day this fall in the beautiful Laurel Highlands. Visit Neubauer's Flowers and Market House in downtown Uniontown, offering remarkable flowers, gifts, and decor for every season.
When you think flowers, think Neubauer since 1921.
Introducing the sports book at the one, the only, The Meadows. Place your bets now.
Whatever your sport, whatever your level, getting back to what you love is living proof. Call 412 Doctors for an appointment with AHN.
Spend a day this fall in the beautiful Laurel Highlands. Visit Neubauer's Flowers and Market House in downtown Uniontown, offering remarkable flowers, gifts, and decor for every season.
When you think flowers, think Neubauer since 1921.
Want to bet? Introducing the sports book at the one, the only, The Meadows. Place your bets now.
The mayor, Bill Peduto, delivering the select game ball this evening for this Eastern Conference semifinal matchup, and the marquee matchup, if I do say so myself, of the evening in the USL Championship. Number 1 team in the East, Pittsburgh, against the 2-time defending champs in Louisville City FC. Let's go to that starting 11 for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, coached by Bob Lilly in his 2nd season in charge. He's won a USL Championship in 2015. The one bit of interest there, Paul Child, is we see Kevin Kerr, the 7th-year Hound, back in the lineup. Steven Dos Santos out at the top of the formation.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a surprise. I guess he got a knock from the last game, and he's probably holding out, but I'm sure if he needs him, he'll be in there, Matt, in no time.
And for John Hackworth of Louisville City FC, he's in his first full year in charge, but he guided the club from the midway point in 2018 all the way to its second consecutive title. Chris Hubbard's been the man between the sticks all year long, and keep an eye out for Devin Speedy Williams, number 80, in the middle of the park, as he will be largely tasked with controlling the midfield. Both teams, Paul, want to possess the ball tonight. Louisville City, one of the stronger possession teams in the league all year long. Pittsburgh below 50% on average, but they want to dictate here at home in this, at least in the first few minutes, and show Louisville that they have the mettle to take it to them.
Well, I think they do, Matt. They've been doing it all season, you know, towards the end here, getting on top of teams right at the beginning. If they can do that, teams have a real hard time coming back, and they build that confidence with the Hounds and make it very, very difficult for a team to score on them again.
Well, do the Hounds have an encore after 7-0 last week against Birmingham? Proves to be, well, it should be tougher here against Louisville City in the Eastern Conference semifinal. We are playing playoff soccer for the second time in as many weeks. Ryan James flicks the ball into the box. Nico Brett was running on, looking to poach another one, but it was deflected away. Dabo heads it on frame, but an easy stop for Hubbard, the 24-year-old Kentuckian, native of Louisville, in fact, played at Trinity High School, and then matriculated at Notre Dame.
Yeah, you can see some, it's only just started, but you can see some nervous energy there for sure. And Louisville having trouble here in defense, trying to get this ball out. And the Hounds doing a really good job of putting that pressure on, like we talked about, Matt, right away. And you're going to see some battles going on out there tonight for sure. You can feel it right now.
Louisville in the purple, Pittsburgh in the gold, of course. It's a colorful matchup at Highmark Stadium. It's a celebration of soccer once again as the Hounds try to make it to the league's Final Four, but a lead pass is broken up. Adewale couldn't clear it. Spencer taps it along, and there's Joe Greenspan once again to save the day like he has so often this year. He led this club in clears, and last year's first-team USL defender makes the first big play of the match for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you can see they're just getting it out of the danger area right now, just clearing it as quick as they can, knocking it long. Both teams doing the same thing, just to get that nervous energy, like I say, in the first 4 or 5 minutes, I'm sure.
Nico Brett had 4 goals last week, but there are also some more heroes. We saw Robbie Mertz, the Pittsburgh native, who's in the starting 11 here tonight in the midfield. He got a penalty kick goal, and he was very effective from box to box. This is Spencer, number 9 for Louisville. Louisville, since the acquisition of Antoine Openo, who's in the lineup tonight wearing number 29, it was a trade with Tampa Bay. Lucky M. Kasana went to the Rowdies. Openo came to Louisville. They haven't really deployed a traditional top-of-the-formation striker, but they have gone with several attacking options, including last week's 2-goal man, Magnus Rasmussen. There's a sliding tackle a little bit late for Mohamed Dabo, who wags his finger at head referee Michael Radchuk. Now we learn his name.
Seems a bit slick out there. A lot of the players right now, the footing seems really slick. I don't know whether it's the cold weather, you know, the dampness out there, but you see a couple of kind of crazy kind of tackles right there that were not meant, but caused by the surface.
We did get a sprinkle of rain in the warm-ups, I was told. I didn't even see it, but apparently it did come down. Last week was a complete drenching, and Louisville experienced the same thing at home against Tampa Bay. That was even worse. That was torrential. Here was more of a soaker. That was violent rain, and Louisville survived 2-1 winners over Tampa despite a shaky second half, according to their coach, John Hackworth. Bob Billy loved his team's first half, of course, last week, and they rode it out to victory. 5 goals in the first and 2 more in the second. Gave the Hounds the biggest margin of victory in USL playoffs history in the modern era of this league. Long ball up the center of the park from Dover. That's grabbed onto by Hubbard. Kyle Morton is the Hound starting keeper. After last week, he has 17 shutouts and 28 pro starts. Quite the beginning to his career, the former James Madison star. Openo helped to win this ball. Now Adewale, Toby Adewale, the Hounds defender, will run it out in the touch.
Yeah, it's starting to settle down a little bit now. You can see players more composed on the ball a little bit. I don't think it's going to be as rushed as, you know, with the adrenaline flowing in the first 4 or 5 minutes. Like I said, it's players are flying all over the place, trying to just get a good touch on the ball and get a good feel for the game.
The Hounds aren't a particularly young team, but when it comes to postseason experience, they can't match Louisville. No one can in this league. Louisville's won 9 straight playoff games, dating back to their first championship run in 2017. Brett trying to take this ball away from Sean Toach. Pat McMahon will let it ride, and it's a throw-in for Lou City. Pittsburgh last week, with that 7-0 victory over 10-seeded Birmingham, picked up its first playoff win since 2004. They had misfired on 8 consecutive attempts, all in single elimination scenarios, as is this one. Greenspan comes to and poke that past McCabe, out for another Lou throw.
I've really noticed already, Matt, watch how these the Riverhounds are closing these players down. As soon as they get possession, you can see right there, like a swarm of bees, three or four of them right around him, and making it really difficult for Louisville to get any composure.
The way Bob Lilly sees this match is a war to try to keep the ball. Pittsburgh had its strongest possession match of the season last week, 63% against Birmingham. They had rarely gotten past 55% in even some of their more effective games, home or road. Morton drives it long, and a little fake out from Paco Craig, the veteran defender, allows Hubbard to latch on.
A little bit too long. He's got to probably take something off that, but again, it's first kick for the keeper. They want to feel good about themselves, and that's a confidence builder right away.
And the wind is blowing toward the Louisville goal in this first half, toward the Steel Army. The fully engaged supporters section. They've been terrific all season long, and especially now in 2 playoff games. 2 tifos in 2 weeks. That's unprecedented in the history of the supporters group. There's another foul against the Hounds, and Mohamed Dabo, Niall McCabe, the Irishman, slow to rise. 2 early fouls against the Hounds.
Referee kind of brushing that one off. He didn't say anything to anybody, but give the Dabo a little kind of look of warning, I guess.
Well, a reminder that this evening's starting lineups are brought to you by the one, the only, the Meadows. The Hounds going with the same back 5, Paul, that they have basically all year long, or at least in recent weeks. We'll get to that in a moment as Oscar Jimenez runs on. Jimenez,
great job,
overwhelmed by Dover. Part of that back line, the foul called against Jimenez, who was hanging on to Dover. Dover, Vunky Azil, Greenspan, Adewale, and James across the back for the Hounds. Then you have Dabo and Mertz and Forbes in the midfield, alongside Kevin Kerr and Nico Brett, the lone forward. The Hounds looking like a 5-4-1 this evening.
Yeah, I think you're going to see, you can see Kerr right now, Matt, pushing way up on the left side. He's going to be kind of a combination with Nico Brett, maybe looking to be behind him for any balls he can knock back, play layoffs, and get some through balls too.
Last time these 2 teams met, September the 7th, 0-0, but both sides had plenty of chances to score. Pittsburgh had 3 or 4 before the half, and then Louisville took over. The Hounds are going to try to stay on the pedal a little bit more and not lose their nerve in the attack. They haven't had much of the ball early on. They've tried some long ones.
Oh, great.
But here's a step move from Forbes. He's grabbed onto by Rasmussen. Advantage given by Michael Radchuk, the referee. Yeah. It's Kevin Kerr, longest tenured Hound at 7 years.
Looking for the
James, he had a couple great crosses last week.
Nobody really at the far post, where we usually see DeSantos sometimes hangs out there because of his height. But I saw there a lot of players going to the near post instead of somebody staying out wide, which usually can be devastating if you get a good cross.
McCabe, speaking of crosses, he can swing in a few. Niall McCabe taking on Dover 1v1. His chip play headed clear by Adewale. Our first corner goes to the defending champs.
Yeah, Adewale doing well there, I guess, not knowing who was behind him and what was going on. Probably didn't have the keeper, Morton, didn't have a chance to give him a call and say leave it, because it would have been a goal kick. But now it's give Louisville an opportunity here on the corner kick. And you can see everybody's getting up there.
Jimenez, one of several Lou City players who are back for a 3rd kick at the can. Rare stability in the USL Championship. Just the way of the league is that you see quite a bit of turnover, not with Lou City. They keep bringing back a lot of the same guys, and for good reason. Short corner.
Real short one.
McCabe tries. It's blocked by Thomas Vunky Azil, 2nd-year Hound.
That's kind of like, saw that just at the last second and got a little bit closer to it, but that was a nice quick free corner kick, and good opportunity for Louisville to get a shot on goal.
I'm Matt Geico. The voice you just heard is Paul Child. We're here with you, bringing you the play-by-play and color analysis respectively on ESPN Plus, 22 The Point here in Pittsburgh, and on YouTube internationally. Another restart will go to Louisville. I mentioned Bob Lilly a couple of times. 2 defenders in the starting 11 for Louisville played for him on that 2015 Rochester Rhinos Championship club. And that would be number 4, Sean Toch, and number 15, Pat McMahon. They're still getting the job done, obviously, at this level. Mertz takes the first touch ball from Adewale. Vunky Azil, former D2 Player of the Year in NCAA soccer. Couldn't get that one squeezed through to Brett. Again, the Hounds are going to try to switch play here.
Yeah, they're going to try and keep a little possession, I'm thinking. And don't want to make any silly mistakes this early in the game and rush things. Here's an opportunity here by Louisville making a pass.
High press gives the Hounds the ball. James slides it in. It's going to fall to Kevin Kerr. Kerr goes back.
Whoa!
Punches it over the bar. Mohamed Dabo thought he had the first goal.
Good save there by the keeper and a great shot by Dabo. Dipping right over the top of the keeper, and he just got a fingertip on it and pushed it over the crossbar. Great attempt on goal.
Dabo isn't alone. I thought it was in. He hasn't scored this year.
There it is. What a good save. That was right underneath the crossbar and was going to go right in the top right-hand corner.
Hubbard was brilliant back in September here. Helped Louisville pull a point out of it. Forbes is in. Swagger!
Oh, it's a goal! Thomas
Vunky Azil, the last man to touch it, and the Hounds are on top early for the second consecutive week. If it bleeds, they can kill it. Tommy V, the man from France, converts the corner kick from Forbes.
And this booth is rocking, and I'm serious, it's rocking, and you can see this place is absolutely packed, jam-packed, and the fans are loving it and swirling their towels and are very, very happy with that, just like I'm sure Bob Lilly is, and it doesn't show kind of any different expression, but Thomas there just getting a flick on and catching everybody all on his own. Keeper coming out, but really kind of hesitant.
Sean Toch, I introduced you to him just a moment ago. He was beaten to that ball by Vunky Azil, the former University of Charleston, West Virginia standout. And he got some international play this year. Got some big game experience before the playoffs started, and he has his first postseason goal as a professional. Thomas Vunky Azil puts the Hounds on top before we even get to minute number 12. A set-piece goal. Pittsburgh had 10 of them in the regular year. None last week, despite scoring 7. If you don't count the PK, which I don't in this circumstance.
No.
But they deploy that weapon once more. Louisville trying to spin one in.
Yeah, this is
and
where
it's fended off. McMahon now has it dropped to him. Openo. Speaking of France, another Frenchman on the pitch tonight.
Good steal by
He's stripped.
Mertz.
Robbie Mertz, the Pittsburgher, takes it and keeps it alive inside the far touchline in front of the river. Tip ball. Kevin Kerr colliding with Paco Craig, the Englishman. And it'll be Speedy Williams spraying it out to our near wing side for Oscar Jimenez.
Kerr got a nice little bounce there, couldn't really convert that. That would have been a great opportunity one-on-one down the left side, but couldn't come away with it. But this is the most important time now for the Hounds to just keep strong and keep Louisville from getting any chances in these first 2 or 3 minutes right after a goal you score.
Well, Louisville has not won on the road in the playoffs. That's one little bit of the plot I haven't mentioned yet. They've traditionally been at home at Slugger Field, or in the final last year against Phoenix Rising FC on the campus of the University of Louisville. So this is a new situation. Last time they were on the road was back in 2015 at Rochester. And they lost 1-0 to Bob Lilly's Rhinos. Craig, as the Hounds nearly turned it over again, or converted the turnover, I should say. Williams going square to Toch. Toch to McMahon. Again, Vunky Azil from Forbes. Canardo Forbes now with 11 assists on the season. One of the best setup years in Hounds history. This is the 20th anniversary year for this franchise. Morton will take the headed ball from Ryan James.
Yeah, Forbes has been really, really good in creating opportunities for other players. I mean, his working rate, his effort, and you can see unselfishness every chance he gets with the ball. But if he gets a chance, he will put it in on net.
Kerr fell. It appeared that Toch took at least one of his feet out from under him, but there will be no call. Of course, the Steel Army believed that they were wronged, and in that situation. But folks, Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Hubbard goes short, and there were 5 hounds surrounding him, nearly coughed up. This high press is in effect. Williams mishit it with his countryman Forbes in his face, and it does drop back in the Hounds' possession. But speaking of drop back, the Hounds will go with a back pass twice. Kerr to Forbes to Morton. And they've tried some long ones here. That's at least the 4th or the 5th that has just slid right through the midfield.
Yeah, just way too long. He's got to take something off these kicks, especially when that was just a normal kick off the ground. Usually the volleys he's been drop kicking and stuff are going all the way to the goalkeeper, just like that one. So again, maybe nerves and a little bit too much testosterone.
Possibly so. I know I've got a little bit of both flowing at the moment. Great to be with you here from Highmark Stadium on the south side of Pittsburgh. That'll be a foul against Louisville, and it'll set up the Hounds with a restart opportunity, maybe a foot inside the sideline.
Yeah, they'll set up as if it's a corner kick, I'm sure, with the same setup and having the big guys at the back. You can see them going up. Greenspan and I think who's taking this kick? Is it?
It'll be Forbes, so yes, they'll play it like
a
corner kick, as you mentioned, Paul.
Yeah.
A little bit further up the sideline from the corner, but not terribly different. 5 Hounds in the area, 2 more lurking in Mertz and Dabo. James there as an outlet too, if Forbes wants it.
Sounds like a train going by, but it's the fans banging their feet on in the stadium. What a great atmosphere out there for the players.
2nd straight week for that. It's awesome here. They do go short to the Hounds. Mertz chipping, and Bunky Azil won't be able to find that. He was the closest man to that ball. Something from the training ground, but it didn't quite have the rhythm and timing it needed.
No, and I think they were kind of a little bit messed up there, Matt. They didn't have really anybody really out at the far post, really deep, for looking for something that might come all the way through. They were all going to the near or to the penalty spot, and even that little chip was there was nobody out there. So they got to rework that one a little bit.
Well, so far, Pittsburgh has been good in closing off the midfield. There they go again, but Greenspan coughed it right back up to Rasmussen, last week's 2-goal scorer. McCabe, a speculative ball that will find only the hands of Kyle Morton.
Yeah, I don't know what he had a vision there of something, and there was nobody else running in there. They were looking, he was looking for somebody to make a run, I suppose, and nobody did.
Louisville liked the way it played in the first half last week. John Hackworth felt like the team, perhaps soggy from the rain, lost some energy in the second half. Tampa scored with about 15 minutes left and nearly knotted it up. They had plenty of the ball, did the Rowdies, late at Slugger Field. And the finale looks to have been the finale for Slugger Field, as the team's about ready to move to their new Butchertown complex next year, and they're looking forward to that. As Louisville City has established itself as arguably the premier franchise in the USL Championship. James nodding it. Matsoso rises too. Hasn't touched the ground for a few seconds, and now Williams, the half volley, Bunky Azil played right through Rasmussen and took it.
Oh, that's a
fell down,
ball.
but he still got the ball to Brett.
Oh,
Nico Brett off the touch from McMahon. No, it'll be Pat McMahon settling things. McMahon, the native of Illinois, 32 years old. You're known by his flowing locks there. Easy to spot from up top. Matsoso, and to the back line again for Lou City. 18th minute, Hounds up on a Thomas Bunky Azil header off a corner kick.
Hounds really doing well in midfield, if you look, Matt. They're really closing down players who, you know, need to get the ball and make things happen. And Hounds are, I think, winning that battle right now, because as soon as they get it, as you can see, we win it straight back. I think Nico's got to get...
He was pummeled to the ground, and Radchuk let it go, and now he's going to finally whistle it as Brett was pinned into the touchline.
But that's what I'm feeling right now. They're not letting them breathe. They're not getting a chance. Anybody that gets the ball in midfield either knocks it back for a defender to knock it long, which is kind of 50-50 balls that you've got a chance with.
I love what I heard from Bob Lilly this week, Paul. He was saying, in his mind, it's crazy to not consider the Hounds the favorite in this match. He felt like the league, on the whole, he didn't say specifically who was talking about it, but he felt like people were giving Louisville a little too much credit. And well, the Hounds have been unbeaten here at home all year, 20 consecutive contests, and this year, dating back more than 40 to last year, in fact, the last time they lost a game that wasn't a penalty kick shootout here at home.
Yeah, really, I don't know why you would think that way either with Louisville. I mean, the Hounds have done so well, especially playing at home, Matt. You would got to think that they would be the favorites for sure.
Well, at least our friends at Rivers Casino here in town had them as the betting line favorites, as I may have mentioned earlier. And it does seem to be, if you're playing at home and you're the Hounds, smart money is going to be on you. This year especially. Even last year, the final 2/3 of the season, they were unperforated. Kerr tried to plant a foot there and slipped. There you go again. You mentioned the turf does look a little bit on the slick side.
Yeah, it seems like any time they try to take off quickly, the foot gives out and the cleats are not grabbing. And you know, obviously, players have a lot of different cleats. And
Brett wanted a call, won't get it. Toch popped it up into the air. We're having some trouble here. Matsoso coughed it up to Mertz. Mertz to James. James settles, crosses, Dabo cleared out, and Dabo is about to get called for a foul after the clearance. And Paco Craig was the man who flew in to the picture to push that ball out. Otherwise, Mertz would have had a chance to line one up like he did last week. Remember, he hopped on a second ball, and it led to the first goal when his shot hit the post.
Yeah, definitely.
And Craig and Dabo having a conversation. Michael Radchuk gets in between the two. Second look, I suppose Dabo a little reckless with Craig in the air. Definitely looked like a bigger hit than it might have actually been.
I think so. I think it was, you know, more play action than anything. You know, I get tapped, I'm going to go down and try and get away with the free kick, and he came away with it. But these two are going to be battling all night. You can see this. Most of these players as well. Ryan there, taking a nice ball and not giving such a great pass with it, but winning it from the long kick again.
Next week, the road to the USL Championship reaches its penultimate moment. That means second to last. You don't have the thesaurus on board with you. That's next weekend again. Specific matches and times will be on USLChampionship.com. Tune in for every minute of playoff action, though, on ESPN+. No matter where you are, what a shocker last night. Phoenix, #1 seed overall in the USL Championship, upset by Real Monarchs 2-1.
Nico really got the pace there to beat that player and was catching him very quickly and just couldn't quite get to it. But Hounds winning it back again, really.
They're smothering at the moment. This looks like so many sequences earlier this year. They were so stout defensively last year. This year, they're creating more from that counterattack. Jordan Dover had a goal last week. Did he get to it? He did before the end line. I thought for sure that was going to be out, and it ends up being a Hounds throw, so give Dover credit for getting to that spot and, well, at least convincing the assistant referee, Tom Felice, that the ball was in.
I don't think he could, the linesman could catch up with it, to be honest with you. He was a good 5 or 6 yards behind it, so I think he really couldn't get a good look if it was over the line or not, so really couldn't call it.
Dover flicking. Spencer putting in a defensive shift. Former Xavier man Spencer. And now it's the Michigan alum, Robbie Mertz. Back to Vankiazil and Greenspan. Another ball to the center of the park. The Hounds believe in their ability to get on these second balls, it appears, tonight. Brett held on to. No, he's called. It's an offside.
Boy, that's a strange call. I'm surprised at that one, but linesmen and referees surprise me all the time.
Even though at least on this half of the field down to our right, we typically have a pretty good look at the offside call or no call, the judgment zone, if you will. Joe Greenspan and now Forbes deep set in the midfield here.
I tell you what, the Hounds are looking really sharp and crisp, Matt, and they can keep this up. I'm sure we're going to get some more opportunities and chances, and we're switching the ball really well. And
well, typically in a playoff game, you think maybe one would be enough, but after last week, it feels like one's just the start.
Yeah.
Remember, the Hounds scored 5 in the first half. They had 3 by the half-hour mark. Devin Speedy Williams picked up a couple of international caps this year. To McMahon and now Toch again. This ball is coming up a little bit short, perhaps, of Rasmussen, forcing him to get rid of it quickly. 24th minute. Pittsburgh has to like the way this match is developing.
Yeah. Kevin, I thought he was going to really go after that player, but he didn't. He kind of held up and saved his energy a little bit. But I love to see these players go in at play, as you can tell. You know, I think if the forward makes that move, Matt, everybody behind you's got to see that, and they got to all do the same thing. If they don't, then you've got to get on their case to back you up. When you make the decision to go and close somebody down, everybody's got to do it to cough up the ball.
That's exactly what makes that type of pressure effective, right? Everyone's got to know what the guy next to him
it's like
is
flicking
doing.
the switch, you know, and that player flicks that switch and goes, and everybody's got to go behind him and make it very, very difficult for him to get out of that zone.
Kerr, good touch. Brett, a little heavy on that one.
But safe.
Exactly. Right back to defender Adewale in his 3rd year with the Hounds. Adewale and Greenspan, 3rd year here in Pittsburgh. I mentioned Kerr, 7th season. Other than that, every other Hound on the field, on the roster, in the 18, whatever, in the building, has come aboard since Bob Lilly took command of this franchise from a soccer operations standpoint 2 off seasons ago. It's been a complete transformation from 13th in 2017 to 3rd last year and 1st in the East this season, and now you could argue the favorite to win the whole darn thing after Phoenix got knocked out last night. Throw in Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville getting a few breaks there. Greenspan kind of whiffing on a couple and not quite getting him where he needed to. So giving Louisville a little bit of confidence here, and they're still trying to find those through balls to players that I don't know what that free kick came from. But
well, the referee Radshaw gave advantage for a long time, and then he took it back after Louisville couldn't make anything of it. Spencer colliding there with Von Kiesel. It falls to McCabe and knocked away from him. No dummy of that play from James allows Mertz to run free up the touch. Mertz to James on the overlap.
Oh, yeah.
Toch got a foot in, but it's still in the Hounds' possession.
A little bit unlucky there. If he'd have got that past him, you know Ryan can fly, and would have got down to that byline and cut it back for somebody. That's a great cross, but nobody there.
That would normally be the Steven Dos Santos zone. Again, Dos Santos, the double-digit goal scorer for the Hounds. Not in the starting 11 tonight. Not sure if that's a tactical or a medical decision. I did happen to see him working out with some of the strength and conditioning staff about an hour and a half before the match, so perhaps they were testing something. He was banged up last week. He took several hard fouls against Birmingham.
Yeah, he did. I think his ribs, it was the main problem. I kept seeing him hold his ribs, and I think he got a real good whack there, and probably a second one later on in the game, because one time he wanted to come off, I think, and Bob didn't want him to come off.
That's right. That was about 20 minutes ago, I think he was begging off, and he played the full 90.
Yeah, and we were up at 6 or 7.
Yes. Yeah, by that point, it was all but over. It was all but over at halftime. That was just a strange playoff game. It's really not going to happen like that very often. No. The 7-goal margin, the biggest in USL championship history, dating back to 2011 when the league restructured. 7 goals by a team tied the most. Orlando City scored 7 in the final against Charlotte in 2013. So it had been that long since a team scored 7 in a playoff game in this league. Now the second-tier league in America. In case you're new joining us, and I'm sure we do have a lot of new viewers tonight, thank you for your interest in the Riverhounds and Lou City and USL Championship, an exciting league to be a part of, for sure. Greenspan easy, able to handle that, but Forbes, a rare miscue. McCabe, Spencer. He's got Matsoso making a run. Instead, he'll lay it over to Openo. Antoine Openo dispossessed by James. Take it for granted sometimes how often the Hounds win these 50-50 balls, but we really shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's no guarantee.
That's what makes it, though, isn't it, Matt? You know, those guys making that extra effort and coming away with it, and or making things mess up for the other team, and you can start over again.
Nearing a half hour on a brisk night. Great night for football, though.
Yeah.
As a player, you can go as hard as long as you want, basically. You're probably not going to have any kind of heat-related fatigue. Kerr on the takeaway.
A little bit on his own, but there goes Nico.
On the outside, that's Forbes, actually.
Forbes, yeah, sorry.
Nico going toward the arc at the top of the penalty area. Well, we have seen Nico occasionally get wide, but not too often, especially not right now as the lone forward.
Yeah.
Williams will take this ball from McMahon. Speedy off to Openo. A tipped cross, or a forward ball, I should say, slugged away by Greenspan. One thing to watch tonight, Nico Brett, formerly of Robert Morris University just up the road. Devin Speedy Williams wearing the captain's armband for Louisville City and three-time USL Cup champ. He played for 3 seasons with Nico at RMU, and they were a lethal combination in college, as you might imagine, because they've both risen to stardom here in this league. And both from Jamaica, both great friends. They will be after 90 or maybe 120 minutes tonight once again, but for right now, it's a battle. And we might see them go head-to-head quite a bit with Speedy in the holding midfield.
Yeah, definitely.
What? Kerr dumped by Matsoso. McCabe working outside against Greenspan. Good luck getting it through that 6'6" wingspan.
This referee, I don't know why he didn't call that one. It was pretty obvious from up here, but he let it go.
Napo Matsoso living on the edge. In that case, second-year Lou City midfielder. Matsoso has come on late in this season, played quite a bit.
Oh, here's a good
Forbes
breakaway.
has some pasture and just couldn't get that ball past McMahon, who poked it to Tosh. Sean Tosh, he's from Fargo, North Dakota. This probably feels like a balmy evening for him. Up the center, that's a good ball to Matsoso from Craig. Louisville loves to ping it around. The Hounds are trying to prevent them from doing so, and they've been largely successful in the first half hour.
Yeah, they are. As long as they're doing it in the center of the park and in their own end of the field, you know, Hounds won't care about it too much.
Jimenez, that pass was a little behind him and he overran it. Oscar Jimenez making his 96th Lou City appearance. So many of these players, 18 in all, returned from last year, and several of them with 3 and 4 and even 5 in some cases years of experience wearing purple. It's continuity that you don't discount for sure, especially at this time of the year with a team that's won 9 straight playoff games.
Yeah, and when you've won 2 championships too, Matt, you've got to keep going with the, you know, as long as they're not getting, they've got a couple of older players that aren't out there right now that they'll use if they need to, but I think...
Speedy making a run here, excuse me, Vunky Azil heads it out.
Yeah, you've got to go for it, you know what I mean, and keep the players that you know have a great chemistry together.
Jimenez, one of the team leaders in chances created. Matsoso pivots his hips and gives McMahon a chance to make a play out wide. McMahon chops it past Ryan James. Adewale spun off the ball by McMahon, and it's a deep foul called 2 feet in front of the end line.
Yeah, I think McMahon clipped his back of his heels there, and referee...
Can we please have James Patterson report to the ATM machine at the main entrance? You have been selected.
Coming up in 2 weeks, make it 15 days to be exact. The 2019 USL Championship Final promises to be the biggest in league history. Both these teams have aspirations to be there. Tune in Sunday, November 17th at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN2 for the biggest match of the year. The Western Conference champion and the Eastern Conference champion coming together. See who will raise the cup.
Thank you.
Again, 7:30 Sunday, November the 17th. And if the Hounds win out, it'll be here. If Louisville wins, then, well, suddenly home field is up for grabs, really, in the USL Championship.
Yep.
McCabe. But for right now, it belongs to the Hounds if they can keep it up. James, fundamental little tap back. And it's Kyle Morton. Morton just had to make 2 saves last week. At times, I forgot he was on the field because the Hounds had so much of the ball, so many offensive looks. Honestly, I can only remember one of the saves, and it really wasn't that tough. It was a soft shot that he had to parry to himself. That came early. After that, it was a routine or even a sub-routine night, if you will, for Morton. He's not expecting that tonight, but he hasn't been called into service yet. 25-year-old from suburban Philadelphia.
Yeah, I noticed McCain a lot. This number 11 keeps on switching these long balls across the box, but they're not on the same page at the moment. I'm sure their coach is going to sort that out probably at some stage or at halftime or whatever, because he's not got players running into those spaces that he just keeps hitting the ball into. And Hounds are just picking it off every time.
We haven't seen Bob Lilly, the Hounds head man, too animated on the sideline yet. He's all bundled up in a coat, just as I mentioned that. He's pointing down to the corner, I believe to Nico Brett, possibly Mo Dabo. Jimenez, well, here's Louisville starting to grow into this game a bit now. Spencer.
Yep.
Splits 2 Hounds. Spencer to the edge of the area. Lost control, but it sprays off his foot to Openo. No, it doesn't. Openo won't be able to get there, but it's last touched by A man in a gold shirt, might have been Greenspan.
I think he just cleared it and did the smart thing and just kicked it out. He was looking to try and knock it back to the keeper, Morton, to get it out, but didn't quite get it in the right place and give a corner away, safety.
Second corner for Louisville.
Yeah, we've kind of eased off a little bit, the Hounds. They've kind of like took the foot off the gas and calmed down a little bit, conserving some energy maybe, and I'm sure they'll
left footer in.
Pick it up again.
Bunky Azil, as he did in the other box, got his head to that corner kick first. It's Bunky Azil's goal that has the Hounds on top. Late stages now, first half.
It's not going nil there. Tremendous speed there to get to the ball and just clear it out of danger.
He doesn't flash it that often.
No.
But he does have it in his back pocket if he needs it. Bunky Azil played as a defender in college. Last year, more of a midfielder, occasionally on the wing. This year, almost exclusively right in front of that back line. I don't know what you'd call him necessarily. Maybe the third center back, maybe the second holding mid, but
a lot of space over here on the right, but he's thinking of switching it back to Mertz.
And it was a great one, right on Mertz's chest from Dover.
Great touch. Did really well.
Bunky Azil to Dabo.
On his own, all open.
3 Hounds in the box. They'll back it out. Pittsburgh in front. Now trying to get this crowd back alive. At least buzz the box. The only real chance went in. Louisville honestly hasn't had one as well. A cagey affair as we imagine coming into this contest.
That's a great ball too.
Causing some trouble for Jimenez, but a little too active with the hands was Jordan Dover, at least according to the referee Bradshaw.
I think Dover picked the wrong way to go. He should have gone on the inside of the player instead of the outside, and he couldn't get around him, so he obviously got called for a free kick, foul.
Bad ball from Craig gives the Hounds another chance here, but the missed volley from Bunky Azil.
Bunky Azil was thinking there with that.
Spencer through, Rasmussen pokes it past Adewale. Here's a look for Lou City.
Aye.
McCabe to the byline, another cross deflected out.
Ryan James there, I don't know. I wonder if, kind of a hesitation there. What, do I close the player down? Don't I? Gave him that split-second opportunity of a through ball, and that's what created that Louisville chance.
McCabe and Jimenez be the 2 men near the ball. Jimenez took the last one. And it looks like he'll use that accurate left instep once again. Now he'll just give it off to McCabe. It's McMahon sending it into the mix. Oh, Speedy Williams had an open header, but he guided it wide.
Yeah, a couple of players there kind of open. Nobody picked them up at that time, and actually got in the way of each other a little bit.
Double tree by Hilton, Pittsburgh Green Tree. Every little thing we do adds up to create a rewarding experience.
That was a 3-on-3 battle, and if you're an attacking team, that's what you want. You want even numbers if you can get it. And right there, Williams knew where that ball was coming. See at the top of your screen, number 1 Cochran is proud to be the region's automotive leader. They continue to invest in surrounding communities, serve local charities, and sell more new vehicle brands than any other auto group around. Number 1 Cochran, Pittsburgh's own number 1 Cochran. Go one better. Pittsburgh at the moment, one better than Louisville. That fits with the theme of the night so far. But it is nothing like last week. By this point, it was 4-0.
Yeah.
Just a weird one, and weird in a good way, obviously, for the Hounds and their fans. But I know it was going to be a challenge to
unrealistic
to refocus.
Really. Yeah.
It is. That's a dream match, and you move on from that. But Pittsburgh has gotten past that first hurdle, which they hadn't been past in 15 years. So it was extremely significant in many ways. And this town has been on fire for the Hounds, just anecdotally speaking.
Well,
Spencer chopping his way along, looking strong. Openo now on the left side. Into the box, McCabe. Back to Openo, and it's corner kick number 4. Here come the champs. I misspoke, that was Rasmussen alongside Openo in the box. Quick corner. Trying to catch the Hounds off guard. Greenspan wasn't fooled. Still free in the area, though. Joe goes up for it. Spencer wins the ball.
Again, Spencer's getting into the game here. And
McCabe on the overlap. Kyle Morton intercepts that. I believe that was a cross more than anything. And
yeah, he read it pretty well and got to the near post. There was some space in front of him, so he did see that just in time.
we saw McCabe falling toward the byline as he let it go, so that prohibited him from getting that cut back as much as he wanted to. Hubbard, in a familiar scene, picks off a through ball and rolls it out.
We're not closing down as tight as we were. We're just giving them a little bit more space than we did before, and now you can see Louisville starting to get possession of the ball a lot more and getting some more and more opportunities.
Different script for Lou City. They were up 2-0 at this point last week. Adewale, moment of hesitation for Morton, and Adewale makes it a river ball.
That ball, Matt, I think had a real weird spin on it from that collision of the two players, and Morton thought it was going to spin back to him, but went a different direction, so checked and went back into the goal, which as a forward you love to see a goalkeeper do, hesitate like that. But
Brett looking to challenge Toach with his foot speed, and he does win this ball. Nico Brett, already the Hounds leading postseason goal scorer all time. He passed David Flavius with that 4 spot last week. Brett's first 4-goal game as a pro, his second hat trick. Mertz is running. Kerr couldn't guide it through, just unable to find a lane, but Kerr keeps the ball. And Kerr is fouled by Openo.
Bundled over there finally, and Kerr keeps plugging away and never going to quit, so got his body in front of it, and the player had no alternative but to challenge him and knock him down. Here's a great opportunity again. We've got to take advantage of this if possible in this 41st minute. Great time for a second goal, Matt.
41 minutes in, it's about 41 degrees tonight. Fans are on their feet stomping, especially down in the Steel Army section to our right.
This place is packed. I've never seen it this full, and it's a real big crowd, and it's great to see, and the atmosphere is fantastic.
Let's see if the Hounds can reward what is expected to be the biggest crowd in Highmark Stadium history. This is its 7th year. Forbes, can he be the magic man again? No, he challenged Hubbard, and Greenspan would have been there if Hubbard had spilled it out, but it ended up on top of the net.
Yeah, that was a dangerous, dangerous ball. Take a little bit more off that, and then it would have been really complicated for Hubbard, either going in the nets or touching it off the crossbar, and Greenspan waiting there to nod it back in.
Forbes has scored off a free kick this year. Hounds have a couple of those direct free kicks in. Brett won, Forbes won. Brett's came against Indy in that remarkable 3-0 win late September that put Pittsburgh in command in the Eastern Conference table. First ever regular season title in the modern era of the USL achieved by the Hounds this year. Now they're trying to double down and get a playoff title to go with it. That would be a first ever in 20 years of Hounds soccer. Kerr now backs off on this right side from the Hounds' perspective. Louisville going to its right flank, and McMahon probing a bit. Final minutes, first half. East semi. This is the only match going on currently in the USL, as Nashville, the 2 seed, will kick off against the 3 seed Indy at 8 o'clock Eastern time or whereabouts. McCabe, no sail. Bunky Azil blocked that down.
Great ball.
Well weighted at Dover, but not well weighted enough. Craig was running interference as he looked to close down the space.
Dover eased off a little bit there, which he doesn't normally, and
Spencer, hold-up play extraordinaire again from him.
Yeah, he's wheeling and dealing. Here's a keeper's ball.
McCabe, Morton, no trouble. The runner was Openo. Antoine Openo played parts of 4 seasons for the Philadelphia Union. That's where John Hackworth got his first head coaching experience as a pro.
Oh, well taken by Brett there. And Brett getting
some hand fighting. Brett! Save made Hubbard as he reached to his right. It spilled over to the corner. Hounds let it ride, and a bad break. It'll be a throw-in instead of a corner kick.
Yeah. And
McMahon hobbling down back on defense. Now he has a seat as the whistle blew to stop play.
Fans booing this.
Well, it's a harsh crowd tonight, as you would imagine. Everything on the line.
He's looking to take some steam out of the Hounds, actually, by laying down a professional.
That was his old buddy from RMU, Speedy Williams, getting the hands into Brett's chest. And honestly, could have been a foul, but advantage given.
Yeah, Brett there nearly unleashed one and just couldn't quite get enough power on it, but did a great job and made the keeper really have to work to get that out.
That was the Hounds' best chance from open play so far. Corner kick goal from Bunky Azil, the only one on the board for both sides as of yet.
That's it.
James, we have offside called by the near side assistant ref.
Yep.
That's Tom Felice. Ben Pilgrim is on the other side too. And Elvis Osmanovic, one of our favorite names for referees in this league, is the fourth official at the table. Now you know all the characters in tonight's game as we tick toward half. Steel Army getting its chanting and singing
ball.
going.
Kevin Kerr there, great touch.
Kerr almost tripped over it, but now he gathers, and the cross not timed well enough. He had the near side run from Dabo, the far side run from Brett, but Hubbard snatched it away.
Yeah, Nico's got to come for those and look for those. Everything can be sharp. I mean, he's done it a lot of times, but obviously you'd like him to do it every time.
Well, he did literally do it every time last week. 4 shots on target, 4 goals.
Oh, Ryan James there did a great job stretching.
Through ball, but yes, even I could call that one. Brett is ahead of the second to last defender before that pass was even struck, and he couldn't get back in an onside position. And now Brett has a beef with the ref Radchuk.
Wasting time, unsportsmanlike, kicking the ball after the whistle. I'm sure that's what it was about, but I don't think it's really, you just tell them don't do it again, you know, wasting time. But
right, it's not complicated there.
Shouldn't be.
Brett perhaps arguing, well, if the flag stays down, I got to play that ball. At least that'd be my argument if I were trying to make it. A fine human shield is Toby Adewale in that case, keeping Luke Spencer to the outside. Spencer, 23 goals in the USL Championship. I'd argue he's been Louisville's best player so far. He was the USL Cup Final MVP last year. He scored the only goal against Phoenix Rising. 32 appearances this season, 17 starts. So he's a versatile guy, not always in the 11, but almost always on the field at the end of the day.
Yeah, but he's looked pretty dangerous today, Matt, and, you know, don't want to give him too much room because he's been very effective.
The Hounds fans aren't liking some of the calls recently in the attacking third against Pittsburgh. Speaking of calls, there's our whistle for the halftime break. 1-0 Pittsburgh. The Hounds are halfway home on home pitch here at Highmark on the Thomas Bunky Azil goal. Paul, it was a little give and take, I would say, in that first half.
Yeah, it was. I think in the first 10 or 15 minutes, the Hounds definitely had the better of the game. You know, more possession, putting pressure on like you wouldn't believe, and making it very difficult for Louisville to create anything. But really came back. Louisville kind of got it together again and started keeping possession. Well,
Louisville looking like the champs that they are, not going down easily, but the Hounds have their noses in front on a cold night in Pittsburgh. Back for the halftime show, brought to you by the one, the only, the Meadows, after this timeout on ESPN Plus and 22 The Point.
Why walk when you can fly? Tap into your inner eagle. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Want to bet? Introducing the sports book at the one, the only, the Meadows. Place your bets now.
This cinnamon sugar pumpkin latte looks amazing.
Yeah, with this caramel drizzle, it's so good.
Yeah, I wish I were this creative.
Oh, I'm not that creative.
Thanks. Oh, wow. Did you just carve this?
I did, yeah.
That is so cool. Did you make one for me? Oh.
It got busy.
Treat yourself to a new cinnamon sugar pumpkin signature latte. It's all things pumpkin at Dunkin'. America runs on Dunkin'.
Okay, we hear you. Due to popular demand, #1 Cochran Nissan's 3-store supergroup just added store number 4.
Introducing #1 Cochran Nissan Cranberry and grand opening offers at all 4 stores. Lease the all-new Altima from just $209 a month or 0 APR for 3 years plus 2,000 customer cash and 1,000 extra for trades at #1 Cochran Nissan now.
Introducing the sports book at the one, the only, The Meadows. Place your bets now.
Why walk when you can fly? Tap into your inner eagle. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
It's another party on the south side. At least so far, the Hounds making the home fans happy with the 1-0 edge on a Bunky Azil goal through 45 minutes. This is your halftime show brought to you by the one, the only, The Meadows. I'm Matt Geica alongside Paul Child. Thank you for tuning in as we both focus on what's going on here and now. And also, it's tough to not look ahead a little bit, Paul, because we do have on the other side of the Eastern Conference table, Indy taking on Nashville. The 2 versus the 3 seed. Indy, only goal they needed was right there from Carl Ouimet, former Hounds nemesis. That was last week. Indy now on the road to take on Nashville, and Nashville trying to make it a fine finale as they're moving to MLS next year. So this is their last official act as USL participants.
Yeah, Nashville have done very, very well this season and very, very strong at home. I think Indy is more of a home time type team. I think they're going to have their hands full today with Nashville, and it's going to be interesting. I'm sure it's a very similar game to what we've got here. 2 very tight teams that have done very well all season and really battling in the end here.
Speaking of battling, look at that. I love that goal at the end of last week's win over Charleston for Nashville. That was terrific. Well, there you see Pittsburgh versus these 2 teams. A couple of draws against Nashville, 2 very different kinds of draws. Hounds had to hang on at Nashville to get 0-0 because they were down a man for the second half in September. Here, they came back with 2 late ones to tie it 2-2. And Indy, I mentioned 3-0 here for the Hounds, 2-1 there for Indy. So it's not like there's any kind of definitive edge in either one of these potential matchups.
There isn't with any of these teams. It's like really, really close, you know.
As you would imagine, the top 4, 5, 6, in fact, in the East were all extremely tight in the regular season standings. So we'll step aside here and bring it on back in just a moment. There you see the steel line drum line. Wow, we're bringing out everybody, pulling out all the stops on the south side tonight. Keep it with us on ESPN Plus and 22 The Point.
Williams wins it. Seconds remaining, and that will do it.
Warner's going to chip it up over the top. This ball is for Andy Bolton. Andy Bolton with a thunderous strike. Are you kidding?
Sion McFarland. Insurance has arrived here in the state capitol.
Again, and the flag is down the left side. Higashi inside the box with a shot, and it's 1-0 Charleston. Here we go for the win. Van Schaik steps up and he scores.
Fantastic goal from the 31-year-old. Incredible amount of technical ability to go full side volley bike on that. Difference at the final whistle. The mistake, and it's just a pickpocket move from Jack Blake.
What a finish! 3rd year with the club. Played across. Rasmussen! Masoso wants it. It's Obi, and again Rasmussen doubles the lead!
Dos Santos is onside. He crosses off a defender, right back in.
Yes, and
Nico Brett's definitely got this one, and it's Dos Santos. Forbes, can they make it 7? Brett, goal! Oh my goodness, Nico Brett.
And one more time, Macaulay King gets an assist against RB2.
Wow, what a ball. Just clears the defender.
And right at Kelly. Jones slithering through. Derek Jones!
Headed, knocked away. Oh, what a save. Iwasa again. Dangerous here, and Sacramento delivers again.
About Phoenix Rising, is that possible?
Kennedy! Oh, he scored!
Opportunities, missed goals, and a good penalty finish.
More than 100 caps for the Reggae Boys. Saved by Lubin. Cody Mizell, Cochran, and Phoenix are off to the Western Conference semifinals.
Well, the first round was a thrill, as you just saw there, courtesy of our friends at USL Championship Media. We're hoping for more from the second round. Well, last night, Real Monarchs, give them credit for upsetting the #1 overall seed in Phoenix. So now this whole thing is cracked wide open, I would say. Let's look at some news and notes, though, stepping away from the intensity of the playoffs for just a bit. Our old guard friends, the Charleston Battery, sold to new ownership, HCFC, and they'll remain in Charleston. That's the most important part.
That's what's fantastic, I think, Matt. They was here in the beginning and still there and still doing really well, and have got some new ownership that I'm sure are going to really motivate them and create some more fans.
Portland Timbers will move to suburban Hillsborough, and they're San Diego, the new franchise, which will begin next March. Will have a name now. They're playing at Torero Stadium, University of San Diego. They're called Loyal Soccer Club. That'll be the newest addition to the Western Conference. Full bracket time. There's Real Monarchs looking rather kingly after that upset. 7 versus 6 on the other side. That's late tonight. Sacramento and El Paso. It's almost the opposite as the Eastern Conference, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's totally the opposite. The top teams here not in it right there.
So we'll look forward to seeing who comes out of that. It's going to be a lower-seeded West final. We know that for sure, regardless of what happens. There's the score from last night, the shocker, if you will. Although it took Phoenix penalties to beat Austin last week, too. So Phoenix Rising maybe just ran out of steam at the end, despite that 20-plus game win streak at the middle of the year. Nashville and Indy, we mentioned, 8 o'clock, and El Paso and Sacramento later this evening. Okay, so we're looking forward to a little bit more, well, maybe a lot more from Highmark Stadium. You never know. It could be extra time in the offing. It's still decided by the narrowest of margins, at least through 45 minutes. We'll come back, go over that first half, give you some stats and highlights on the other side of this commercial timeout. I'm Matt Geico with Paul Child. Keep it right here for the second half of Pittsburgh and Louisville in the East semifinal.
Spend a day this fall in the beautiful Laurel Highlands. Visit Neubauer's Flowers and Market House in downtown Uniontown, offering remarkable flowers, gifts, and decor for every season.
When you think flowers, think Neubauer since 1921.
Want to bet? Introducing the sports book at the one, the only, The Meadows. Place your bets now.
This cinnamon sugar pumpkin latte looks amazing.
Yeah, with this caramel drizzle, it's so good.
Yeah, I wish I were this creative.
Oh, I'm not that creative.
Thanks. Oh, wow. Did you just carve this?
I did, yeah.
That is so cool. Did you make one for me? Oh.
It got busy.
Treat yourself to a new cinnamon sugar pumpkin signature latte. It's all things pumpkin at Dunkin'. America runs on Dunkin'.
Whatever your sport, whatever your level, getting back to what you love is living proof. Call 412-DOCTORS for an appointment with AHN.
Introducing the sports book at the one, the only, The Meadows. Place your bets now.
Spend a day this fall in the beautiful Laurel Highlands. Visit Neubauer's Flowers and Market House in downtown Uniontown, offering remarkable flowers, gifts, and decor for every season.
When you think flowers, think Neubauer since 1921.
Coach Bob Lilly says he wants to ingrain in the league's brain that the Hounds are here to stay. Well, they're halfway to another big step toward accomplishing just that. I'm Matt Geico with Paul Child. Let's look back at that first half, which started with the Hounds again on the front foot. And it was a set piece, the Hounds' 11th set piece goal of the year, Paul, that has them ahead. It came in the 11th minute, but before that, we did see a couple of opportunities here. A giveaway to Kerr.
Yeah.
Mohamed Dabo. A couple of awesome saves in that first half, I'll say, for Chris Hubbard. He was tremendous for Louisville.
That save was very, very good. I mean, that thing was going in all the way, and then this great cross, and Bunky O'Neill just all on. Well, he had a player standing next to him, but the player really didn't jump, and he just got a flick on it and got it down in the right-hand corner of the goal. So, great job by him. And here's Louisville trying to get back into this. Had a great opportunity right there was one, but I think he got mixed up with the player behind him. And
it was Speedy Williams who headed it. Paco Craig was the man behind him. And maybe a quick break chance that materialized out of nothing with Brett shooting. And again, Hubbard forced to leave his feet to make another stop.
And Brett getting the shot off with 4 players around him, you know. I mean, he did a great job to get that shot off.
One of the league's top strikers for good reason. Now 32 goals in 2 Pittsburgh seasons. How about that possession number? I'm not sure if I saw it at 65. I know Louisville did have more of the ball as the half went along, and that'll be something the Hounds will try to reverse as we start the second half.
They might do, Matt. You know, I've noticed with the Hounds, though, when we had the lowest percentage, we've really done well usually in games.
A lot of times, yeah. They've been comfortable counterattacking on the road and at times at home. The 2 teams are reloading and getting set. They have a couple of huddles going on. Well, one in each of those huddles played at RMU. There's the shot of the 2 of them just about 20 miles from here out in Moon Township. Speedy and Nico, and they were tremendous for the Colonials. And we talked about Nico last week. He had a couple of 4-goal games there. Speedy was a setup man at the Division I level too. Plenty of college soccer alums, but that's such a cool story here tonight. And we saw in that Nico chance at the end of that highlight package, he was hand fighting with Speedy, so Speedy knows how to get him off his game, maybe.
Definitely. Well, it's a battle when you played with a player like that. You're trying to figure out what he's going to do, and you'll know what his kind of favors, you know, which foot he's going to go for, and I think that's what he did.
Thanks to the Robert Morris University Athletic Department for that photo. And Jason Cohn, the expert snap man out in Moon. Well, Speedy's got what Nico wants, and that's a USL championship in the postseason. Speedy's got the last 3, one with New York Red Bulls 2, the last 2 here with Louisville. But the Hounds are the prime challenger in the East at the moment, and they're 45 good minutes away from going to the East Final for the first time in the modern USL, which started in 2011.
I wonder if they'll come out like they did in the very beginning here in the first 5 or 10 minutes and really try high pressure again, Matt, and create some opportunities, some mishaps by Louisville, and getting on those and trying to get a shot on goal and getting another one in the back of the net.
Waiting for the kick. Louisville has to come from behind. It's been a rare scenario for them at the half in the playoffs in recent years, but that's a situation that the boys in purple find themselves in. John Hackworth, their coach, we'll see what kind of adjustments he might have had. Although I imagine he probably liked the end of that first half pretty well. Mishandle from Craig. Hounds throw, it's quickly taken from Kevin Kerr.
And Nico on the ball and doing a good job holding it up. Back to Kerr, looking for that cross. Now he's a throw-in.
Kerr with his back to the, or pardon me, Nico with his back to the goal there. Nico Brett, Jamaican-born striker, 27 years old. He's coming to his own in Pittsburgh for the 2nd time in his career, college and now professional. He was drafted by Portland, but didn't really get a chance there. Bunky Azil tries the looping cross, and it was headed off at the pass. Dabo wins it back. Dabo to Kerr. Kerr ball in. Brett hit the outside of the netting. It looked like, for half the crowd at least, that it had gone in.
Yeah, as I said, it looks like Bob's given him a speaking to and said, hey, we've got to start off this second half, putting the pressure right back onto Louisville and make them realize they've got to really work hard to get any chances against us.
I think the issue for the Hounds, at times, they don't want to get too many bodies pressed up because they know Louisville can pick you apart if they have time and space. But if the Hounds want to win, they have to do just that, what James just did,
and
step up and bottle in the visitors. But James won't get to this ball, unable to keep that alive.
But that's a pressure I think is great, Matt, because you just keep them in their end, and it makes it very hard for them to create anything. And winning the ball back and forth again.
We haven't seen much from Robbie Mertz. He missed on that connection to the outside. Brett, though, disrupts the pass. Speedy Williams, all the way back by his end line, helped Louisville escape there with a deft 10-footer. Greenspan's header off of McCabe. It's right in front of the Hounds bench. Bob Lilly in his 19th season. He has never missed the playoffs as a professional coach, getting all the way back to his time with Hershey in the late 90s.
That's pretty impressive, too.
Yeah, tough to do, and if you want to win, you hire Bob, and that's what the Hounds did 2 winters ago.
Oh, great job there getting it back. And now
it'll be James.
Nice ball in.
Bunky Asil nearly had a second. Boy, he was drawing a bead on that swing in from James. And Greenspan not just called for the foul, but he's carded here. Maybe it was a hand or an elbow to the face of Antoine Opino. That's the only thing I can figure, because it didn't look too terribly violent at the moment.
No, not at all. I thought there was some slipping going on there, really, with the surface. But he's limping for some reason. I don't know how, but
48th
anyway.
minute yellow. We'll take a look. We'll have a replay for you.
I kind of like ran up his back right leg, so it was a foul, but both of them were turning and fought well.
Not sure I see that as a yellow, but that's the decision of Michael Radchuk.
Exactly.
Matsoso, the Lesotho native, couldn't make a play, and the Hounds' James will let it go because it'll be a goal kick, last touched by a man in purple. Lou City has been at least to the East Final in 4 straight seasons. They've won the last 2 USL Cup championships. Last team to beat them in a regulation playoff game was the Rochester Rhinos in 2015. New York Red Bulls advanced past them in penalty kicks in the 2016 East Final. Spencer, again, that man, getting in the face of James, but it'll be a Hounds throw again. James Demertz, back to James. Trying something here. High lofted ball. Matsoso under duress. Coughed it up. Brett, can he get there? Rounds the keeper. Nico Brett couldn't put it in.
Nico,
Couldn't put it up
you
on
gotta
it.
hit it, man.
He went for the quick release instead of the power. It's a corner kick, but what a chance.
That was a great opportunity there. I thought you got to you could see that player coming back, Matt, and I think you got to just overemphasize and really put some power on that ball, and I think it would have scooted off into the back of the net. But great opportunity again, sheer effort, and you can see right here, he didn't really look up, see this player coming, and didn't get enough on this ball. You can see he didn't really get a good connection with it.
Might have had time to take an extra touch and pound it. Forbes, low corner, skips free in the area. Jimenez clears. Dabo having some trouble with that ball up in the air, grabbed onto Opino, and it's allowed to continue on. A referee Radchuk. So the Hounds had to scramble back there off the well-defended corner, although Forbes, I don't know if he struck that where he wanted it to. He got a little thin and it stayed low. Lou City, not accustomed to playing on the artificial surface, but they got a practice session in up at the University of Pittsburgh, just about a mile away at Ambrose Urbanic Field. That was yesterday to try to get adjusted. Spencer! Spencer! Tie score in Pittsburgh.
Boy, he could make something out of nothing, and I think I said to you at the end of the half, Spencer's the guy to watch because he's definitely on the ball and got things going right now. And from one chance up one end, you can see there with Brett, go down the other end, and they've got a goal back. That's why they're in the championships.
Exactly. I don't want to say heartbreaking because it's too early for that, but just after Nico Brett has an opportunity to make it 2-0, Spencer chests it down and blasts it. He got between James and Adewale, and Morton was no match for that power drive from Luke Spencer, the 28-year-old from the state of Ohio. Make it 24 USL championship goals in his first of this postseason.
Yeah, they're going to try and keep a lot more possession now. Now the Hounds have really got to come out again and go at them. I don't think they've got to rush it just yet. There's plenty of time left. But you got to keep your eye on these guys. They're never going to stop and make it very, very difficult for you. And that's why they've been in the championship the last 2 years.
Well, now Lou is level, and Mertz got tangled on the touchline with Jimenez. That's midfielder versus outside defender. And Jimenez quite frequently up the pitch, and he and Mertz again exchange shoves. Mertz is a feisty player, and he's gotten a few yellow cards to prove that this year in his first pro season out of Upper St. Clair, PA. It's a South Hills suburb of Pittsburgh, if you're not familiar. So we're at 1-1. Spencer Luke Spencer, he knows how to score some big goals. 40 minutes after Vankiazil put the Hounds on top, we are level at Highmark Stadium.
And here's another high ball back into the box again.
Spencer again going after it, nearly fell to his feet, and he puts his hands over his mouth. He's upset that he couldn't corral it on the rattling high ball that dropped in.
Yeah, Ryan James there kind of lucked out a little bit, hit him, went back to Spencer and hit him and went back out of bounds. Lucky it didn't go in the right place because Spencer had a shot at goal again.
That's Spencer's 9th across all competitions this season. The striker back in Louisville. Brett is at least attempting to get after this one. Hubbard, and remember a couple of those big saves that Hubbard made in that first half. Could have been 2-0 Hounds a couple of times. Louisville scores on its first shot on frame in this game. What a rip it was. I believe it went under Morton's leg. He was in the vicinity, but not close enough. And now Spencer, energized by the goal, of course. Stripped by Vankiazil. Forbes did not quite run the tightrope. Gave it a good shot, though. Nardo Forbes, 4th in the league in passes, 1st in recoveries. He's always hopping on loose change in the midfield. Kevin Kerr doing a good job to body away Matsoso, who falls to the pitch. And then Kerr, sliding tackle from McMahon. That'll be a yellow. And a hard tackle from McMahon, studs up.
Yeah, really there. Kerr doing a great job there, trying to get the ball and keep possession of it, getting his body, putting his body in the way, and you see battling for it. And this player just coming in and just chopping him right down. Got the replay there.
That was Oscar Jimenez, by the way, who had the ball into Spencer. Give him 8 assists, pardon me. 7 in the regular year, now 1 in the playoffs. Adewale long ball. Intended recipient is Dabo.
That's a great
good
ball.
bicycle kick back into the box. Kerr fires and didn't get a lot on it. Somehow it got all the way through. It snaked through a couple of Louisville defenders.
Yeah, he needed to try and get some power on that, maybe get a deflection from a defender or something. There was a lot of bodies in between him and the goal.
Good response by the Hounds. They'll get a throw here as Williams just wanted to pop that one into the stands, and he did. He didn't like what he saw up ahead of him. Again, Pittsburgh pressure. This is what we expect in the playoffs, a 1-1 score.
Oh, that's a good ball.
Brett couldn't flag it down, though, at least not on the first touch. Kerr sent it his direction, and Opino mishandled. James to toss in for the Hounds. Pittsburgh will go the right wing route. Forbes, first pass was broken up, gets a second chance at it. Forbes ball in for Nico Brett, making a run to the spot. He also had Kerr did Forbes, but Kerr was behind that if it had gotten a deflection. I'm Matt Geico with Paul Child. It's a thriller here in Pittsburgh, 1-1. Louisville is leveled here in the second half early on.
Yep.
Toby Adewale, former George Washington star. To Vankiazil, there's another tough foul called against Lou City. Matsoso, the guilty man this time.
And the referee just talking to him.
No card there. We've had 1 card apiece in the second half already. Greenspan for Pittsburgh, McMahon on the other side for Louisville. Trying to keep an eye on other scores for you tonight, but obviously our focus is on this one. Indy and Nashville. The winner of this will play the winner of that. That's in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh.
Dabo called for the foul.
Offside, actually.
Oh, pardon me. It was an offside, yes. Flag up way over on the far side of the pitch on the Monongahela River side of the facility.
Boy, he must have been just offside because he's only standing right behind the defender and there's nobody in the middle.
Paco Craig ripped it up the far touch. McCabe, McMahon, and Craig again. Handed it over to the Hounds. But that was Kevin Kerr who, well, he didn't like the way that he was dispossessed, but play will roll on. Now Spencer takes a tumble, and this is off Opino last. Apparently they haven't started yet in Nashville. I thought they would. It's 8:20. We're scheduled to start kickoff around 8 o'clock, 8:06 or whereabouts. James, who played for Nashville last year, was a big signing for the Hounds last offseason. Rears back to throw this one long, about 20 yards. Mohamed Dabo wins it for the Hounds. Tight quarters here on this near touchline. One of the tighter pitches in the league, actually, in terms of width.
Oh, Kerr there looking for a quick throw in. The ball boy giving him the ball really quick, and nobody else was ready, but he was.
Kerr's crafty like that. He'll look for every opportunity to get an edge.
Oh, nice touch there by Ryan.
James wants to swing it across. It was blocked and then corralled. Fortunately for Louisville, it allows the visitors to escape and get a midfield throw from Opino, and the referee Radchuk said that's a little too far up from where that ball went out. They'll give you some leeway typically, but not 10 yards worth of leeway.
That was a good distance.
Fans, you continue to enjoy the USL on ESPN, and you will continue to do so through the 2022 season. New agreement, this league and League One will be carried by the worldwide leader in sports for 3 more years. ESPN Plus will continue to be the home of the USL Championship and 19 games a year on the ESPN family of networks, including 9 on ESPN Deportes. Ball out to the Hounds on the far wing. Perfect November night for soccer. The first November match in Pittsburgh Riverhounds history. And you know it's going to be a memorable one, regardless of how this pans out. Dover couldn't slide it by. Good play from Jimenez over there. But there's a recovery from Bunky Azil. Ball rattles around. Rasmussen won't be quick enough to find it. Dabo will. Bunky Azil to Robbie Mertz.
A good run there.
Overlapping run from Canardo Forbes. Sliding tackle from McCabe, pries the ball loose. Our first substitution is coming up. We'll get that to you in just a moment. Hounds try to get it in again. Brett got a touch. Hubbard running after it, and he'll track it at the byline.
That was a great opportunity again there. Just didn't quite need half a step closer to the ball, and he probably could have got a shot off.
Brett has been inches away a couple of times from his 5th goal this postseason. 4 last week, and that 7-0 wipeout of Birmingham. We're a long way from 7-0 now. Brian Ownby, the former Hound, in case you didn't know, he's about ready to check in for Louisville. Ownby, 29 years old, former NCAA champ from the University of Virginia. Adewale and James, and not enough to be able to keep that one alive. Ownby is about ready to check in. So early second half sub, just 15 minutes in for John Hackworth and Lou City FC. Ownby for Matsoso.
Louisville substitution.
It was Matsoso who coughed up the ball that led to the Brett chance earlier this half. I don't know if that's at all connected with Ownby signing in for him. Ownby's 3rd year with Louisville.
Yeah, he's done very well for Louisville for the last 2 or 3 years. So.
2 goals, 5 assists this year. A big chance creator as well. A couple of guys who are follically challenged, chatting it out right now. Ownby and Spencer. Don't get them confused. Ownby is number 10 and Spencer number 9.
I'm sure we'll get them confused. But
Ownby has the beard, hopefully, at least.
Yeah. And both of them can create a lot of chances and create stuff. So got to keep our eye on them and make it difficult to get in the game.
I wonder if the Hounds might think about a sub at some point. Don't want to think about extra time yet, but it is a possibility in a 1-1 score. Kerr, that ball is in.
Yeah.
Now in the middle of the park for Lou City to set up shop. McCabe and Craig. And McCabe again, the Irishman to the Englishman. And to Jimenez. Lou City, just a couple of losses all time in the playoffs. They've made it all the way through twice the last 2 years. Forbes, for many of these Hounds, just their 3rd playoff game with the club. Dover, a little away from the reach of Mertz.
Not a good ball at all there, and an opportunity for Louisville to break out.
Spencer Ownby wants it back. Ownby's going to get it, and he'll poke it past Greenspan, but too far for anyone in purple to latch on.
And you can see these two have got a chemistry together, and they're going to work well together if we get them chances. So Hound's got to be careful of that.
Some room now suddenly for Brett. Brett a through ball. Kevin Kerr. What's Mr. Riverhound have in store? He's got a cross to the back post. Mertz kept it alive. Still free. Dabo runs on. Mohamed Dabo will be able to get around this. And it's Forbes chipping. Brett waiting. Bump down, and that will not be a penalty despite the protestations of the Steel Army. Brett palms up into the atmosphere as if to say, what was that?
The fans definitely know the official.
Has delicious beef jerky for our fans in section 104 row J.
Final half hour of regulation time, that is, from Pittsburgh.
In the Strip District.
Spencer has equalized in the second half. Luke Spencer, that is, countering the Thomas Vunke Azil first half goal off the corner kick.
Still plenty of time here to create some chances. Louisville not getting as many right now after that goal. It's kind of calmed down a little bit, and Hounds trying to get some opportunities.
Brett didn't come to that ball from Greenspan, and as a result, it was intercepted by Craig. There's Mertz doing a good job to slide that one away from McCabe, though.
You're right there, Matt. You've got to come meet these balls. You can't stand there and expect to get them. Players are going to just read that and take it off your foot.
Forbes on the back pedal. Greenspan in some trouble. Oh boy, nearly handed that over to Luke Spencer, but swatted away by Vunke Azil.
Players getting some opportunity now in the middle of the park, not being closed down as quick.
It's opening for Ownby, crossing, back in front for Spencer. He knocks down Morton. It's cleared off the line, but it wouldn't have counted. It's a foul against Spencer, sending Morton down onto his backside.
He went straight into the keeper. He wasn't thinking about the ball, and the referee not thinking it worthy of a yellow card.
Seemed to be a pretty clear foul.
Yeah, you're going to see it right here.
It was Openo putting it into the mix.
Elbow right into under his chin, I think it was, as you'll see here.
Fouls are fairly even. Pittsburgh had more in the first half. It was 8-6 at the break. Two teams that didn't play terribly physically in terms of foul call this season. Toward the bottom in yellow cards as well and red cards, both these squads. '65th minute. McMahon, and he has Ownby. Well, for the Hounds, just to give up a goal lately has been wild. Yeah, they have only conceded now 3 in their past 12 and a half matches, give or take. They had 10 clean sheets in their last 12 games. That's how you put together a 12-match unbeaten streak.
Yeah, I suppose it was we were due a goal, but
one's going to go in eventually, so sometimes you're going to have to get that 2 or that 3 spot even. Bob Lilly, pardon me, giving some in-person instructions to Nico Brett. Spencer stretches, but all he does is give it to Canardo Forbes, the Hounds captain.
That's a good ball by Nico Brett.
Far side, Kevin Kerr. He rounds it, feeds it to Dover, the wingback. Dover, good ball in. Brett chests it. Will he let it go? It's blocked. Still an opportunity, though, for Pittsburgh. Dabo cleats on the ball. Oh, he did a fine job in keeping that one away. Speedy Williams and Ownby were putting pressure on him. An incisive ball from Dover, and he thought that Brett was going to check back for it.
Yeah, looking for him to come to it, and didn't, you know what I mean? That's what he's got to do. He's got to keep showing for the ball.
Well, Brett has been proven to have plenty of energy. He's one of the Hounds' hardest workers, and
that's a good switch of play right there.
Nearly had Pittsburgh's second goal earlier in this half. Now it's even Ownby slicing it to McMahon. McMahon line cross just over the top of Rasmussen. Here's Jimenez settling. He scooped it a little too much, did Jimenez. Wally, my, he's run through. And is that McMahon?
And McMahon going down because he has a yellow card already.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Oh my goodness.
That's a
could this be a second yellow? Well, Louisville trying to plead its case.
I don't know with this referee. It looks like he's. This is a yellow card. Definitely.
McMahon lowered the shoulder, it appeared, on first glance. And I don't think there's going to be a card given. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. That's...
that close to a disqualification, and Louisville down to 10 men, but it won't happen. And referee Michael Radchuk having a heart-to-heart. McMahon threw the shoulder in there. Well, here's a look at the replay twice. I feel like under normal circumstances, that's a yellow. If he doesn't have a yellow, I feel like that's a yellow. But
well, it definitely was. I mean, there's no doubt. There was no... And the reason he went down on the floor was because he knew he did that, and it was a, you know, professional play by him, and he got away with it again from this referee. I mean, that is really bad officiating there.
You're not supposed to let the fact the player has a card affect your call. I feel like that might have been the case.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
just my view on it for
Definitely.
Michael Radchuk tonight. Handball against Brett.
Oh, but he gets...
He and his buddy Speedy again in the same quadrant of the pitch. Make it the same 5-foot radius. No score in Nashville, 24th minute, by the way.
Boy.
Spencer, now he has some room to run. He has created some pockets. And the Hounds talked about the area that Louisville likes to exploit between the defenders and the midfielders. And, whistle did sound there. Brett on his knees, talking to Radchuk, the ref.
Boy, this referee is kind of...
I didn't hear that whistle, I apologize.
Yeah, nobody did. I don't know why it was a whistle.
Sure feels like a playoff game now. Emotional on both ends, some controversy. We're building the script. No card out yet.
Yeah, I think he's got one.
Oh,
I don't know who he's going to give it to, though. He should have given it to the last time.
It's going to Lou City for a protest, apparently.
It doesn't seem to matter, though. He don't give a second one.
Paco Craig sees yellow here in Pittsburgh, in addition to all the gold jerseys he's been looking at all night.
Yeah, really. I mean, gives a card on that one and not on this one in the goal. I mean, it frustrates me, Matt. I know it surely does the players.
I know it does.
And
I'm sure many of the Hounds, all the Hounds are in agreement with you. Steven Dos Santos has shed his warm-up jacket down by the bench. Just happened to catch that out of the corner of my eye. So we'll keep an eye on that. Hounds restart. Forbes into the blender. Hubbard, Velcro on those gloves for sure to snatch it.
Looking for a quick breakaway here and finds the player, which is had 3 yellow shirts around him, but still came away with the ball.
That was Openo. Openo's been a frequent target tonight. The City has several attacking options. Now Ownby in with Openo and Rasmussen. Rasmussen's been the quietest man on the pitch, I think, and he had 2 goals last week. So Louisville City still effective, even with their 15-goal scorer from the regular year shut down to this point.
There's a lot of time left, too, and, you know, they only need, these guys seem to get one opportunity, and that's all they need in front of goal.
McMahon, this reminds me of last year when James Chambers of Bethlehem was the public enemy #1. McMahon now getting booed every time he touches the ball. Ownby with some space in the flank. Quality ball, but no one home for the visitors. And Morton thought about the rollout, thought better of it.
Yeah, nobody really looking for it or wanted it, and
Mertz checking back too, and he'll try to take this, but he sent it toward the middle of the park, and McMahon laid it off the foot of Forbes. Rasmussen got a little too close to Thomas Vanke as able to make anything happen. We've received word from the sideline that Steven Dos Santos will replace Kevin Kerr. So we'll see the reuniting of Dos Santos and Brett, that potent duo this season. Again, we suspect Dos Santos a bit ailing after last week's physical matchup. At least it was physical for him against Bethlehem, Birmingham Legion. McMahon with the ball at his feet. Niall McCabe. McMahon, the chorus greets him. Good little through ball to Ownby, but McCabe is stripped. Defending well, Canardo Forbes. Forbes doubled back a couple of times and then played it strongly up the center.
Hounds got to start pushing out here. We've got a lot of bodies back there, and Louisville keeping us penned in at the moment in their own half. So
Lou City on the front foot. And this is starting to remind of that matchup in September when Louisville City nearly came out of here with 3 points. No team's done it since late May of 2018, Nashville. Morton has been a lot more active tonight, and he has to sprint off his line to hold on to this. Tension builds. Good thing this is open air. You'll be able to see the tension floating over the pitch.
Brett doing well.
Brett going head-to-head with McMahon. The least favored member of Lou City at the moment at Highmark Stadium. So Kerr pulls it down. Forbes gives wide. Dabo might have a step here against Williams. Dabo got the corner kick out of it. Well, the first goal was a set piece, and obviously Pittsburgh wants its 6'4" striker in there for this corner kick.
Me too. Couple of them there, 6-footers, and an opportunity. Even though Bunky O'Neill is not 6 foot, but got on the end of it. It could be anybody actually in the right place at the right time here with good service. And you can see Louisville got everybody back in the box this time. Nobody staying up front, which is obvious, and do not want to give an opportunity to the Hounds to get ahead.
The Pittsburgh kid. Oh, he's a man now. Robbie Mertz, he'll handle this. From the corner near the Mon. Several Hounds in the area, jostling for position. Low one swings in. Speedy Williams was the first to touch, and he rips it out of there.
Yeah, not a very good corner when you've got all your defenders up there, and
just couldn't get enough loft on it, it appeared.
No.
Here's some loft. Bunky Azil heads it back across. He had a free header. Missed clearance. Hound still looking for it. Not to be. Off the set pieces when they've been the most threatening. Speaking of Pittsburgh. McMahon to the middle. Coughed up. Brett. Robbie Mertz cutting back against Spencer. Mertz to Dabo. Thinks about it. Lays it off. James's cross. Slides in. Mertz is on the floor there near the penalty spot. Play continues on. A clear by Lou City, but not far. Bunky Azil leading Dover. Hounds switch up play. Dover's cross in. Dos Santos restricted, and no call. And the fans hate it, of course.
Boy,
nearly everyone in front of us in the grandstand on their feet, shaking a fist at referee Radchuk. And Dos Santos knows how to draw fouls. He's probably the most skilled Hound in that area.
We're going to get to see it again right here. Oh dear!
He was grabbed onto by Tosh. I don't know what else.
By the arm and
I don't know what else Radchuk wants to see, to be honest.
Boy,
when you grab jersey, that's pretty blatant.
Yeah, he got his arm and everything. I mean,
there's a Hound down, by the way. I didn't catch the number. All the way over here in this near corner, attacking third. Apologize, I was watching the replay.
I wouldn't be surprised if the referee isn't getting an earful down there from the fans.
It's
they
Dos
are
Santos
yelling at him right now.
Dos Santos still arguing, and he's trying to get that next call. He's saying he got elbowed.
He's got a great point too, though. I mean, this is. And he looked like he was watching it too. I mean, the referee saw what was going on, but obviously not going to call it. So the Hounds have just got to keep battling away here and try and get on the board some other way without getting a penalty kick or a free kick.
Well, that's the takeaway for me. You complain all you want, but prison rules might be in effect the rest of the way. Oh. James with the missed kick. Well, we'll see how the Hounds' attack changes with Dos Santos, big number 8 in the match. And Elvis Osmanovic, the fourth official, pushes McMahon back behind the midfield stripe. You love to hear this crowd engaged with the match, though.
Yeah, definitely. They're all into it.
They are fully engaged, and not just the Steel Army. Mertz ran out of room. but he had help in Forbes and his heady play. High in the air now.
Whoa. And Mertz winning that ball. I don't know how, but...
Robbie well under 6 feet, yeah, to your point.
Greenspan
handed it over, and now it's trouble.
You got about 3.
Spencer, Greenspan, and it's a foul against Openo. Wow. I don't know if I saw that, and Openo didn't see it. That's for darn sure.
That's a makeup call, I think. He was trying to get the fans off his back. To be
Sure
honest
feels
with
like
you.
it, yeah. And the emotions of the playoffs affect officials too. Let's not act like they're not affected.
No,
especially in soccer. It's been proven that home field advantage is almost all about referees' calls in whatever sport. And soccer, the fans are close to the pitch. You can hear them. There's no glass separating you from them like in hockey. It's not like a big football stadium, American football that is. It's intimate here at Highmark. So you know Radchuk's hearing some things. Ownby makes a sprint. He caught Forbes flat-footed. Openo's in open space. Openo's cross. Spencer over the bar.
Boy, lucky chance again. Once these guys break, they got 2 and 3 players against 3, maybe 2. And have the numbers up when they're going forward. So we've got to be really careful. Can't give these bad passes away and expect to get away with it.
This is the most the Hounds have been on their back foot at home in a long time.
Yeah.
I think back to maybe FC Cincinnati last year. It hasn't happened this year, I know that much.
Boy, he caught Spencer by surprise because he thought somebody was going to clear it out or the keeper was going to come get it. But
Hubbard to Williams under duress. McMahon playing on a yellow, remember that. And so is Joe Greenspan, actually. I didn't think about that on that last challenge. Not that he was going to commit anything flagrant, but he had his back turned and had to get his motor going toward goal. Getting toward the 80th minute. Having fun yet, folks? It's 1-1. East semifinal match. The first of 2 tonight in the USL Championship. And it's single elimination. Winner, that's it. You go home for the winner. You can't come out of here on top.
And try and create something right now. Got space on the left side again.
Well, Forbes has set up the only goal for the Hounds so far. He's the field general. He's won a USL Cup with Bob Lilly in 2015. So is this man, Steven Dos Santos. Battling, poking back to Forbes. King Kenny, slick move. Kenny Forbes couldn't get past Speedy Williams with sliding tackle. Jamaican on Jamaican, and Speedy won that battle.
One too many.
Perhaps so. It was a good slip move initially. Played it behind his back, did Forbes. Well, Pittsburgh can be relieved, at least have some of the ball now. Every time Louisville gets it, it feels like it's going to lead to a scoring chance.
Well, they've been doing very well in that respect. Oh, that's a great ball.
Take away
James.
from James. Play continues. Brett cutting back. Nico Brett, can he make a move? No, he lost control.
What the? A second cut when he had a right-footed shot, and he's so well at hitting those balls.
James in to the 6, headed clear momentarily. Robbie Mertz. James wants one more cross. He'll get it. A little offline. Dover against Openo. Spills off his foot. Openo to Jimenez.
Come on,
waiting,
Nico.
And it's off of Nico's foot. It is out, just barely out.
Nico's got to be just that quick, a little bit more alive there, and don't tease up at all and keep on going. He's probably got another shot on, or an opportunity to lay the ball off to somebody else.
If he would have kept that in, it would have been danger time for Louisville.
Yep.
This high press continues for the Hounds. This time Louisville breaks it, and they're over the midfield line with speed. McCabe. Openo has Rasmussen and Spencer in the box. Might not get a chance to cross it, though. Dover. Jordan Dover took it away. Canyon wing back.
I'll just give him back again.
Too long ahead. And the regather from Louisville. Fine step from Toby Adewale. Oh, boy, the Hounds are playing with fire now.
Yeah,
both teams missing chances to take possession. Spencer has his attempted ball ahead blocked, and Spencer fouls Vanki Azil. 82nd minute. Regardless of how this one finishes up, people around here won't forget the ending.
For sure.
We've ensured that much now, getting this deep.
trying to get, I think, getting a bit of fatigue as well in the players. You know, they've been working really hard, and we're into the, you know, last 10 minutes, and it's they've been working really hard for each other and trying to defend well. Both teams, actually.
We'll look for the fresh legs in this situation, too. You just saw Dos Santos spring up high to get the first head on that ball. And, of course, Brian Ownby checked in. Oh, it's been about 20 minutes at this point, but still, he's fresher than most.
Yeah.
Ownby 10 in purple. Dos Santos 8 in black and gold.
Oh.
Bunky as he'll handed it over, and there is that number 10. Ownby running it out of Wale. Ownby got the shot off, and he just missed. Was it deflected? No, it's a goal kick. I thought it might have been tipped on its way through. Boy, Pittsburgh a little careless, or a lot careless with the ball in certain situations in the second half.
Yeah, we're giving the ball away, and that's fatigue, I think, Matt. You know, you start giving an easy ball that you think you can do, and that the other team have just that quick sharpness and jumping on things when you miss kicking it.
Dos Santos was just run over. Maybe advantage given, maybe just no foul at all.
I think he...
James, maybe he wants to swing in another one.
We don't really
James
know.
to Brett. Brett off a Louisville leg. Brett got it back. Good little ball there on the second attempt. It wasn't how he planned it, but it nearly worked out. He was seeking out his running mate, Dos Santos. James.
Doing well there.
Did he find it? Oh, he gets the throw in.
Quick one to Mertz.
Mertz near the corner flag. Adewale, a line ball in. Dabo flicked it. Still too much pace on it to connect with anybody.
Yeah, didn't needed to take some slow down there and just a little looper over the top. But, couldn't do that.
Second sub will be coming on for Louisville. Paolo Del Piccolo, fourth-year member of the club.
Oh. Oh.
Trouble for Jimenez. Dos Santos.
I thought he read it.
Was
in
in
got
the
a toe in there and nearly come away with it.
That's 3 or 4 times that Hubbard in his decision-making has nearly cost the Hounds. What a hard challenge there. And Adewale gets smacked around, spun around on the collision, and a card is out. It's going to go to Lou City's Spencer.
Yeah, he's giving cards out now. It's,
third card to Louisville, all yellow. Spencer has the wind knocked out of him. That was violent. No two ways about it. 85th minute card, pardon, to Spencer. Bob Lilly is calling a couple of his players over, Dabo and Forbes, to discuss some things, taking the opportunity with the play stopped.
Really, yeah, give some direction here and getting these players to go out and pass the word around.
Side swipe there, as you see on the replay from Spencer. Radchuk has completed his bookkeeping. Dabo still tying his boot. The Hounds move it along. Now Mohamed Dabo is ready. Greenspan will send long. Forbes couldn't connect to Brett. Brett somehow won it back from behind the man. How about that? See if that leads to anything. Dabo and James. Brett running to the corner.
I thought James was going to go in there.
Brett takes it, slowing. Nico Brett, 4 goals last week. Tries to set up Dos Santos. Hounds were offside. Whistle sounds. Spun right back in by Forbes, but wouldn't have counted.
Yeah, Louisville kind of not taking the time at all. They're just keeping at the same pace. It's going. They're going full steam ahead.
We needed extra time last year against Bethlehem Steel. That went all the way to PKs. Time of year when you have to keep that in mind. Del Piccolo is in as well. He's wearing the captain's armband now. He took that from Speedy Williams. Speedily off his line, Kyle Morton to calm things down for the Riverhounds. Unbeaten at home in 20 matches, all competitions this year, 13 of those wins. Dos Santos steps to. Hard ball over to Dover. Allows Pittsburgh to regroup. Forbes putting the moves on as always, but couldn't make anything happen. Puts his hand up.
To Ryan.
He apologized to Ryan James. He didn't see him, or didn't think he could get the ball through.
Oh.
Foul against Brett, undercutting Sean Tosh, Lou City defender. You can hear over the crowd mics, there's a lot of displeasure going on. The Hounds surrendered a halftime lead here.
Oh.
Wow, long ball, interesting choice from Jimenez.
Yeah, he caught Morton, he was off his line, but not really that far off, but you never know. You've got to take a chance like that, and May got it on target, may have been a little bit different, but...
well, if it works, you're the biggest genius on the planet.
Exactly.
If it doesn't, well, I guess better luck next time. We've seen Brett try that a couple of times this year on the Hound side.
Yeah.
Recovery from Forbes. I talked about all his recoveries this year. Yes, it is an official stat, and Kenardo Forbes led the 36-team league in that. Mertz, fancy footwork, but handed back to Lou City.
Oh,
handed back to Pittsburgh. Brett will hop on this.
You can see, though, there's 4 or 5 purple shirts around him.
James did not get his foot around it.
No.
That left foot's been so accurate this year, but not in that case.
Another sub coming in for Louisville.
This is their third and final sub. Abdou Jam for Luke Spencer, who's battled his butt off, and he has an equalizing goal to show for it tonight. Spencer tied it in the 51st off an assist from Jimenez, the entry ball. Spencer took one touch and blasted away with the left foot, and he's done his job tonight as the striker, of course. You get one in a playoff game especially. You can certainly say mission accomplished. And he receives handshakes and hugs at the visitors' dugout. I'm Matt Geika. Paul Child is alongside. Thank you for watching. We're ticking close to extra time, but it's not there yet. McCabe. Niall McCabe for Lou City. Dover off of a Lou body and out to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't see much. There was a couple of stoppages, obviously, with the block that McMahon did,
right? Yeah,
did on somebody. But I'm thinking a couple, 3 minutes. I'm not sure.
3 minutes we are hearing just now, in fact, over the intercom system. Mertz forcing Craig to move it a little quicker than he wanted to, but Chris Hubbard will still find this. Hubbard up the center with it. Got it by a couple of Hounds. Interesting choice from Hubbard. Wasn't the safest one in the world.
Oh, good ball there to Dos Santos.
Brett to Dos Santos. Toach sends him sprawling. No call. And there is the signal for 3 minutes officially.
Offside.
Deflected ball, but it hops in on Morton.
I think the official was waiting for the player to touch the ball because he was offside when the ball was kicked. But
Dos Santos takes a bump on the head. He's down on all fours as the Hounds keep the ball. Dos Santos trying to rise up. Well, he ended up staying onside somehow, even though he was stationary. Brett making a run for it. The clearance out for Lou City. Just a couple minutes left in regulation time. Then we'll have 30 minutes of extra time.
Oh.
A collision, and it's Forbes. Backs it out. I thought he might have had a chance to take a crack at goal. And he can score from there. We've seen it.
Yeah.
Soft ball, but tackle won by James, and then Adewale pokes it ahead. Mertz into the area. Corner kick coming up for Pittsburgh. 2 all-out tackles, one from James, one from Adewale. Ends up in a corner kick.
Here, great opportunity with minute and a half left in the extra time. Fans would love to see this one get put in the back of the net.
Kenny Forbes will put the right instep to it. Prime chance to win it for the Hounds late in regulation. Cleared off the line, but not all the way out. First time drive from Dabo is blocked. I believe that was either Craig or Toch who kept it away from the goal line. Ball overhead. Hubbard has to leap to catch it.
Reorganizing again, the Hounds. Ball out wide left. Oh, well done.
Running
there.
through Dover. Could this be something?
Still going.
Dover into the corner. Jordan Dover. Hubbard settles it down again for Louisville City.
Yeah, he's got to cut that ball back a little bit more.
Maybe 30 seconds. We'll see about this whistle from Michael Radchuk. Williams. Bunky Izio on the end. Does not appear 90 will be enough, but not the finish line yet. Greenspan making an aggressive run. Abdou Jam took possession back, though, for Louis City.
Greenspan.
Running out of time are the visitors. Morton grabs it in front of his face, rolls it out, but no. Extra time it is from Pittsburgh. One in the first half for Pittsburgh, one in the second half for Louisville. We're all square as a result from Highmark Stadium. Hope you like some extra free soccer tonight in the biggest match of the year, biggest match in Highmark Stadium history. We'll be back for the first of two extra time halves, 15 minutes apiece, and we'll get you all the details after this break on ESPN Plus and 22 The Point in Pittsburgh.
Why walk when you can fly? Tap into your inner eagle. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings.
Introducing the sports book at the one, the only, The Meadows. Place your bets now.
This cinnamon sugar pumpkin latte looks amazing.
Yeah, with this caramel drizzle, it's so good.
Yeah, I wish I were this creative.
Oh, I'm not that creative.
Thanks. Oh, wow. Did you just carve this?
I did, yeah.
That is so cool. Did you make one for me? Oh.
It got busy.
Treat yourself to a new cinnamon sugar pumpkin signature latte. It's all things pumpkin at Dunkin'. America runs on Dunkin'.
What do you call it when Western Pennsylvania's largest automotive retailer begins selling the region's most popular brand?
Chevroletionary, which also describes our grand opening offers.
Introducing the all-new #1 Cochran Chevrolet, where you'll find a special 2-year lease on a sporty Trax from just $99 a month. The unequaled Equinox as low as $139 a month, plus $1,000 extra for trades at the all-new #1 Cochran Chevrolet.
Want to bet? Introducing the sports book at the one, the only, The Meadows. Place your bets now.
We're through 90 minutes from Highmark Stadium. We're getting ready for the first extra time half, and we'll go over the rules for you in just a moment. But tremendous atmosphere once again here at Highmark Stadium. This crowd, overflow crowd, over 5,000. It's supposed to be the largest crowd in team history here at this facility. We'll watch extra time. 2 full 15-minute extra time halves. We'll switch sides after the first one. Not sudden death, not golden goal. You have to play to the end of 30 regardless. If it's still tied, then it's 5 rounds of PKs at least, and they'll continue on until you get to the end of a frame with a winner decided. Again, no golden goal, so don't freak out if a goal is scored one way or the other. I mean, cheer or boo or whatever you want to do, but it's not going to decide the game. So that's been a system that most soccer leagues, international soccer, has used for about 20 years. It was golden goal, I remember, in some international play in the late 90s, but since then it's been this, which is a true test of fitness, a true test of mental strength as well, because you're focusing on every play, especially in a postseason game, and now you have to do it for another half an hour.
Yeah, and you can see Bob really talking to these guys and trying to get them. We're playing at home. We're in front of our own crowd. We've got to give everything we've got and make sure that we get some more opportunities and hopefully can put one of these away and keep that score till the end of the 30 minutes.
Shots ended up 10-5 in 90 minutes of play. Hounds on top. Lou City just had the one shot on target. How about that? And it went in.
Yeah.
From Luke Spencer in the 51st minute.
Not surprised from that guy, though, Matt. I did say to you at halftime, if anybody's going to get on the board or get a chance to get a shot on goal, it was Spencer, because he was working really hard, creating a lot of opportunities, and he did it with one chance in the second half.
And we've seen in the second half, Lou City's just as effective as the Hounds in defending in their own third. They put bodies behind the ball. They're very organized. I figured low scoring would be the rule of the day. Maybe 0-0, but it is 1-1. Thomas Vanke Azil has the only Riverhounds goal tonight. I'm Matt Geica, Paul Childs alongside. We're getting strapped in for extra time for the second time in 3 all-time playoff matches here. Last year against Bethlehem Steel in the first round. It went all the way through extra time, 2-2. Each team scored a goal, in fact, in extra time. That was something to see. For Bethlehem Steel won the penalty kick shootout, and there's a corner handed over by the Hounds carelessly.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication there with 2 players, Ryan James and...
I think it was Dabo, perhaps?
No, I think it was Toby. I think it was Toby.
Adewale
yeah,
in that corner. That would make sense, yeah, the defender. Expecting Jimenez to go lefty, and he will. From the corner, nearest the river.
Got to be strong here.
Hands in the air, lone liner.
Well
and, well, speaking of strong, Thomas Vanke Azil, he has a knack of finding his way to head balls, both ends of the field.
Yeah,
even though he's just barely over 6 feet, I believe.
Yeah, he's free kick there.
6 feet listed. Seems like it's right around in that area. Foul against Lou City, called by the assistant referee, Ben Pilgrim. They reached the half in Nashville. No score. Indy and Nashville Soccer Club. Indy 11 picked up its first USL playoff win. A franchise that used to be in the NASL. That came last week against New York. Top 4 seeds in the East all advanced from the quarterfinals. McMahon playing on a yellow. Slings it across. Craig did well to control.
Oh, well done.
Dos Santos last to touch, and
Santos.
Craig is frustrated because he felt like Jimenez put him in a tough spot, and he did.
We call that a hospital ball.
Yes. Ran him right into Dos Santos, all 6'4" of him. On the second ball are the Hounds. Mertz to Dos Santos. The Cape Verdean striker, 29 years old.
Oh, great ball.
To Dover, back to Dos Santos. Quickly in, slides through, flicked on, chested down by Forbes. Waiting and going square to James.
Yeah, I thought Forbes was going to have a crack there because we've seen him do that from the edge of the box a few times, because we weren't really in his favorable position, more on his left leg.
Dos Santos nods it back across. Didn't get enough on it, though, and I don't think Brett anticipated that either. He's a little slow getting to the spot, which is where that ended up. Foul against Abdul Jam, the second half substitute for Louisville, wearing number 14. He's playing up top now.
Good call by the referee, by the way, there.
Morton wants to get this thing going. He feels like the Hounds might have an early step in this first extra time period. We'll play 15 minutes, so the clock will tick up to 1:05 on your screen, and that's when we'll switch it up and the 2 teams will change ends. Forbes, Greenspan on frame. Not a lot on it. Still 2 substitutions left for the Hounds, too. Keep that in mind. They just used Dos Santos to replace Kevin Kerr. Oh, pardon me. Each team does get an extra sub in extra time, so the Hounds get 3 more. Lou City gets 1 more. They exhausted their 3 in the regulation 90 minutes of play.
Holy
Through ball,
smoke.
Ownby. Ownby's in. Morton, the biggest save of the season. Morton came sprinting out and might have saved the year for the Hounds.
Boy, we had 4 players going to Ombi there, and none of them could figure it out. I don't know why we had so many players going.
Brett That's true. It seemed like no one wanted to take him, and all of a sudden he had
through.
the ball, and he was moving quickly into the area. Golden chance. I'd argue that was an even better chance than the one Spencer had when he scored the goal.
Yep.
Because Ownby had a full head of steam. Brett just outside the 18. So the Hounds dodge one, thanks to their keeper, Kyle Morton.
Yeah, came out really quick there and was on the ball before you knew it. And obviously before Ownby knew he was there, and made him rush his shot and couldn't get a clear shot off.
Boy, isn't it interesting to see this Hounds team? Both teams really have made some mistakes in their own third just because of the pressure, the fatigue.
Sure.
Volleyed by Dover. Brett helps it along. It's Forbes again.
Here's his spot.
On his right foot, Forbes! Oh my! Just missed it.
I said, here's his spot. That's
Yep.
what
That's exactly it. He scored there a few weeks ago.
I know. He likes coming in on that top of the left-hand side of the penalty box and really gets some power on that ball. And here it is.
He would have been king, Kenny, if he knocked that down. It was maybe 6 inches outside the post.
Yes, boy.
It actually had some slight swerve. He couldn't quite hook it and get around it. That was the one thing that kept it out. He might have thought it was in when he struck it.
I'm sure he felt he did.
Long ball from Hubbard after the goal kick. Chris Hubbard totally laid out. He might have thought, oh boy, when that one was on the way. Mertz gaining possession. Rapid Robbie Mertz. Dos Santos has it, lays it off, and
gotta put some
couldn't get anything on it. Oh my, Nico Brett nearly scored. Howler it would have been with Hubbard in full possession, and he was too slow to move it.
Dos Santos did a great job there of shielding the ball and just getting that touch. He needed a little bit more power on the ball, but he was falling backwards, and then Nico Brett would have had a better opportunity. But Nico really showing his speed there and closing down the keeper. Yeah, another player on for Louisville.
This is their fourth and final sub, we can say that much. George Davis IV, one of the most prolific scorers in USL Championship history. Used more as a sub than anything this year for Lou City. 32 years old, 62 USL goals, number 22 in purple. As we said, Pittsburgh still with 3 subs in its back pocket. Bob Lilly must like what the 11 out there are doing right now. Hard to argue with that last build-up as well. Ownby shouldered off. Vanke Azil. Ownby into the 6. Good clear from Jordan Dover.
Ownby there pushing somebody right in the back again and getting away with it. You know, it just amazes me sometimes.
Well, they called a foul here.
Yeah, that was way after. But when he was going down that right-hand side, Matt, we're probably not going to get to see that, but he just gave us a little shove right in the back of somebody and sent them flying and came up with the ball.
Both teams looking for a moment of magic. Flick on from Dos Santos. We will take a look at that replay.
Little shove right there. He just...
Yeah, it sent Vanke Azil flying.
Yeah.
And, 2 players are in trouble. Both athletic trainers are coming out. Oh, Joe Greenspan is up and trotting. No, he's trotting to the sideline. Does he have some blood on his face? He does. Joe Greenspan is cut wide open. Oh, boy. Head-to-head contact between 2 of the biggest men on the pitch, Abdou Jam of Louisville and Joe Greenspan of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Greenspan's face came down on the top of Jam's head. And Greenspan, that's a gusher. That's going to take some time to staunch the bleeding.
I think Greenspan got the worst of that because it was on his forehead, or the side of his forehead. And the other player got it kind of on the back of the head, which obviously doesn't feel good, but a little bit less damaging.
The Navy man, Joe Greenspan, is going to be bandaged up here by Tim Smith, the hero of the day, and the crowd eats it up. And the Greenspan, the center of this back line for the Hounds for the past 2 seasons, a back line that's been remarkable. 6,000 fans have packed into Highmark Stadium tonight. We get the official announcement.
No, it was, I thought it was. There's no room anywhere, and great atmosphere. Got to keep it going. Hopefully.
Hoping for more next week. Well, Greenspan had to put on a different jersey. It's a blank jersey, so if you see nothing on the back, that's Joe.
You can usually notice him, though. He's a 6'6", so.
I never need the number myself whenever it comes to player identification.
No.
The Doubletree logo is the only thing on the back of that Hounds Gold uni. Both he and Jam have been given the go-ahead by the fourth official to trot back on the pitch. Jimenez just inside the touch line.
And now they're going to
Brett
get
in his face.
Probably a chance to head it straight away.
Well, yeah, Joe has never shied away from an aerial duel, and he shouldn't at 6'6".
No.
Jam, the layoff. Ownby and Jimenez. Hounds a bit stretched here, trying to get numbers back. Davis the fourth. Now he's pinned in. And it'll be a throw for Lou City, but not a corner. That's what the Hounds and Greenspan were trying to avoid.
Yeah, they did well.
Quickly restarted. Craig on his right foot, then his left, then his right again. Williams. McCabe to McMahon. The crowd hasn't forgotten. Ownby running at players.
Letting him go, too.
Jimenez challenged. Greenspan got a foot in there. Brett, a shot away from the high foot by Niall McCabe. McCabe, the Irishman, settles the ball.
Louisville putting the pressure on here. They're really not easing up. They're going after us and taking a bit of a chance with that. You're looking for that one breakaway, change of possession, and a shot on goal. So obviously they've been in it many times though too, so they know what they're up against, so they're going for it.
Never won a playoff game on the road though. Jam couldn't settle inside the Hounds area. Yes, all their previous 9 playoff wins came in Louisville. This is a new challenge for a team that's faced and conquered all the challenges this time of year.
Yep. Keeper.
Ball in from Williams. Morton, no trouble.
No.
Who can find the moment of focus, perhaps, that it will take to break down the opposing back line and beat the keepers, both of whom have been good tonight.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bad pass or an interception or somebody getting a quick breakaway, one-on-one with the keeper or one-on-one with the defender.
McMahon heads it centrally, but Adewale, step 2. And it's Dos Santos finally getting the ball back for the Hounds. It had been a while. 2 or 3 solid minutes of possession for Lou City. And about 3 minutes to go in this first half of extra time. Deep one from Adewale, easy for Tosh to nod over to McMahon. And James forced the turnover. James on the pressure, gets this ball, backing into a man. Hard battle, Hounds throw. Adewale, dodgy first touch, but the second one was okay. Morton had to spin one high, couldn't get a lot on it. Dover and Jimenez bang bodies. Brett sends Jimenez down to the turf, and Brett is called for the only foul in that sequence. Bob Lilly incensed. Jimenez setting up for the restart here. Oh, will it be a Bob Lilly team getting the better of Lou City at playoff time, or will Lou City continue its remarkable playoff win streak? It's at 9 coming in. And Michael Radchuk calls a foul on Paco Craig. The Lou City back, a little too aggressive in the Hounds box.
Yeah, there was a lot of bodies in there. I couldn't see who was doing what there, Matt. But Hounds are going to get pushed up a little bit. They kind of eased off here and sat back. I know they...
James Doesn't have enough left in the tank, but it's a throw anyway.
Yep.
Forbes again. Forbes fouled from behind by Ownby.
I don't think we're going to get any more yellow cards from this referee in this overtime period. For some reason, I feel that.
Restart time for Pittsburgh. Prime opportunity late in this first half of extra time, pardon me.
Yeah, first half of extra time.
First
That's
half
good,
of it,
yeah.
yes. About a minute left in that first half of extra time.
Wouldn't be a bad time to get a goal right now, but still 16 minutes.
Forbes, will he go for goal? It's a chip ball to the back post, and I guess too much on it. Forbes is saying keep running to Dos Santos. Dos Santos pulled up. I don't know what the miscommunication was about there, because that was, well, a golden opportunity.
A wasted one, yeah, for sure, Matt. You got to keep it in play at least. You never know what's going to happen. Even a defender could deflect it and cause problems for his own team. So, you know, that's kind of a waste when he goes straight out.
Referees will add 2 minutes of extra time. 2 extra time, the first half of it, that is. So we'll continue to play on. Flick by Brett, Craig, Jimenez, and Hubbard. Chris Hubbard has made 5 stops on 6 shots on target tonight. Although Morton might have the best one earlier in this extra time frame on Brian Ownby, who was threatening to break away and put Louisville ahead. Heavy touch from Dabo, but heavy touch from Louisville gives the Hounds the ball back.
Ryan James
is running, and I think he was still onside too, but Dabo just couldn't figure out a way to slice it through to him.
McCain actually blocked him and obstructed
Davis
him.
running on, Abdul-Jam, post! Oh, goodness. Ownby to the rebound. Ownby crossing, Joe Greenspan saves it.
Boy, oh boy. How is he that wide open there in the middle? Nobody picking him up.
Seeing some breakdowns here late from the Hounds, but Forbes heads that one off at the pass. And Brett just hammers it down. I don't know if he thought it was near the end of the first half. We still have about a minute to go in the opening 15 of extra time.
Yeah.
And it's Davis again, so 2 amazing opportunities for Louisville. Davis, apparently that's still in. Bunky Azil blocks the shot attempt. Williams gets possession back for Lou City. This game is on a razor's edge at the moment. Could go either way. Nearly has gone Louisville's way a couple of times.
Definitely, they're creating the opportunities right now more than the Hounds. And that one's gone astray.
One of the rare mistakes from Jimenez tonight. I don't know if the Hounds have any time left in this opening half of the extra 30 to do anything. They won't. Referee Radchuk says that's enough for the opening half. And we'll go to period number 4, if you will. From Pittsburgh, still tied 1-1, but just barely after Jam rang the woodwork.
Some tired legs out there for sure.
Still 3 subs left for the Hounds. They have a couple of defenders in Uzo and Rivera available. They have Frankie, Velarde, Mark Forrest as well. We'll take a look at some of the highlights from that first 15 of extra time, if you don't mind. I'm Matt Geica with Paul Child as the players regather. And this was the opportunity for Ownby on the combination play with Del Piccolo, and just running free was Ownby. And actually, he had Jam in the box too, so it could have either gone in or gone through to Jam, and he could have put it in. Here's the best chance for the Hounds, though, in that extra time.
Yeah, definitely. Well hit ball there, just a little bit wide. This one is a strange one. Player just standing behind, nobody picking him up and getting a free opportunity.
From 18 yards out. You don't get that often against Pittsburgh, not this year and especially not here.
Yeah. A little bit of fatigue, as I say, Matt, creeping in now. You know, these guys have played a long time. I don't know. You know, Bobby might be using his 3 subs soon, I think, and hopefully that could be the spark that the Hounds need to create some really good opportunities with some fresh legs.
It really does feel like they need a little extra spark of some sort, some energy. I don't see anybody going in right now who hasn't already been out there. I don't see anybody shedding a warm-up top.
No.
It appears Bob wants to ride this group. The thing is, you're not going to take out Adewale. You're not going to take out Greenspan. You're not going to take out the anyone on the back line, really.
No.
I don't think you're going to take out Dover or James or Bunky Azil.
It's a real tough decision.
Perhaps Mertz, perhaps Dabo. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a tough call on Bob, and he's got to decide whether he can stick it out and these guys can come through with a clincher.
Final 15. I think Pittsburgh needed that break more than Louisville.
Yep.
The breaks of the game, some have gone Louisville's way, some have gone Pittsburgh's way. And we're at the point where the next goal is likely to decide it and send one of these teams to the East Final. It would be Pittsburgh. It'd be their first trip to the East Final in the modern USL. For Louisville, it'd be their fourth consecutive journey to the league's Final Four. Dos Santos, the first touch of the second extra time half. Can the Hounds build something up? Not here necessarily, as Toch will head it away from danger. In the midfield, George Davis. Eldest man on the pitch right now at 32.
Yep.
He's just come on recently. Jam fighting here with Adewale. Laid back. Ownby, nifty as always. Brian Ownby had the ball slip off his boot. And now Dos Santos will run after his own flick on. Dos Santos against McMahon. Dos Santos lays a shoulder into him, now backs off. Seems like the type of game for Steven Dos Santos. Maybe he can find some room, carve out some space.
Yep.
Inside the area to get that lethal shot of his off. And the stands are shaking at Highmark. Fans are on their feet, jumping both in the grandstand and in the Steel Army. I'm afraid this press box might come down.
Yeah, really. It's moving pretty good. Oh, there's a high one.
Brett, well, he's got Mertz running.
Oh.
Maybe a missed touch. No, Hubbard safely corrals it. And the rollout. The Steel Army, the fans here in Pittsburgh are doing all they can to inspire their side. Craig to Toch and McMahon again.
Yeah. Oh.
Dos Santos pries it loose. Brett right in front of his coach, Bob Lilly. Brett could not get it through. Del Piccolo closed him down, and Brett took a little too much time.
Yep.
Dos Santos was calling for it in the middle.
Yeah, those guys, there wasn't much space there to try and get that ball through. He needed to do it really quickly if he was going to do that.
McCabe to George Davis. On the trot is George Davis, the fourth. McMahon, first time ball, not his best. Fans inspired by that misplay from their favorite Lou City player. Dos Santos again wins this ball. He didn't quite figure out where it was, though. He didn't have the cavalry to help him out. Hounds get 10 behind the ball here. Adewale gets on the end of it. Souvenir time. James will take the loose ball on the sideline. Thank you for watching tonight on ESPN Plus, YouTube internationally, and 22 The Point right here in Pittsburgh. Winner goes to the East Final. The Hounds have won 20 games this year in USL activities, 19 in the regular season, setting a new franchise high. And last week, 7-0 over Birmingham.
Looks like Mertz is pushed up front at the moment, pushing up front, and Nico Brett's come out wide left, and Dos Santos has gone as the target. So
it's a different look.
Yeah, it definitely is. But Louisville getting most of the play though right now, Matt, getting a lot of touches on the ball, and kind of when you're chasing like this, it gets tiring really quickly, you know.
Really doesn't matter what look you throw out there if you can't get the ball back. So that's the conundrum facing the Hounds at the moment.
Sure.
But all it takes is one counter. Ownby through to Del Piccolo, one touch to McMahon, and it's James on the intercept, but he couldn't get it past Del Piccolo. Hustle play from the longtime Lou City veteran. Craig switches play up. Jam, who hit the post just moments ago, crossing, James cuts in, tucks in to make that play from his wing position.
You can see we've got 2 players and there's about 6 purple shirts back there. We need some bodies to get forward, and I think we can't do that because we're getting tired and we need some new legs in there. We're having a real hard time getting out of our end.
Will it be a brilliant moment? Will it be a mistake that decides this one? Or will it be penalties? Throw in for the boys in purple. Louisville 12-2 all-time in the USL playoffs. Quite a stretch of success for this group, which has stayed together. Foul against Lou City and Speedy Williams.
Yeah, we're kind of fading a little bit there in midfield. That's what I'm wondering. I don't know if Bob's going to change anybody or not here. It doesn't seem like here.
Still nobody really getting warm at the Hounds bench. And remember, if you sub out, you can't take penalties. So that's also part of the calculus for coaches at this time of these games. Dabo on the battle. Dabo with Forbes. Dabo wins this, shielding off Del Piccolo. Dabo to Forbes, sliding down. He wanted to touch it over to Mertz near the sideline. Didn't work out. But the Hounds are again on the second ball. James closed out by Ownby. Toby Adewale up the center. McCabe, promising look here for Louis City. Ownby off his back foot though. Bonchiazio couldn't clear it all the way out. It's that man again, Abdou Jam, dangerous in a sub role. We're hearing Indy is on top in the other East semifinal. James got his foot in there to dislodge it. Ryan James again, team leader in tackles all year. Showed you just why there. Again, a long one in from Lou City. James jogging after it, and Ownby fouls him again from behind. Yep. Indy is up 1-0, 63rd minute on the road. Indy the 3 seed, but seeding almost didn't matter in the Eastern Conference top 4. Everyone was within 4 points of each other at the end of 34 games.
I don't know what the referee did there, call this back. He wants it to go further back.
I suppose so. At any rate, we play on with the ball in the midfield circle. Pulled down by Dabo, and Jordan Dover is the man on it for Pittsburgh. Dover, another long one, goes over Dos Santos. Brett can't get there. Look at this run through from Forbes. Brett, deflected ball! And played out off of Mertz last, unfortunately, for the Hounds. Mertz running through, and the desperation tackle by Paco Craig got the job done.
Redirection there onto target. Here's a replay. Couldn't get around on it to get the ball off on target.
Well, there's a player that might be able to out-hustle you. It would be Robbie Mertz. First year professional, playing in his hometown.
Yeah.
Could this be his moment? That would be completely storybook. James the rare missed header, but he recovers. Thought Brett had a good flick on to Dos Santos, but not to be. This is countryman and friend Speedy Williams who took it away, and Speedy has it again. Right-footed pass up to Jam. Jam to McCabe. McCabe out wide. Jimenez. Jam. Combination didn't work for Lou City. McCabe, though, keeps the Hounds bottled in. James was nutmegged by Ownby, but it didn't develop into anything. About 7 minutes to go before penalties. Pittsburgh scored first way back in the 11th minute, just past the 7 o'clock hour. We're nearing 9:30 here in the Eastern time zone. Thank you for tuning in. A spot in the East Final is on the line. It's the 2-time defending champs versus the #1 team from the regular season.
Hounds are doing a lot of chasing, Matt, and I know you can't do much about it unless you get the ball and get control of it and keep possession. And
Ownby
goes out of bounds with it and falls over it. He was looking for a free kick, but didn't get it from the referee.
Morton wants the ball quickly from the ball kid, and he'll get it. But now the Hounds are just going to take a moment to jog back up pitch and catch their wind. It has been a chasing type of a game in the final, say, 40 or 50 minutes. But here's Forbes. He finds some energy in the tank. Dos Santos was making a run. It would have been a breakaway from 30 yards. I believe that's a handball call or possibly a foul against Jordan Dover, who interferes with the restart. All 3 of Bob Lilly's substitutions are about to check in, we've been told. So all at once, or all 3 that are left, he's used 1. That was Dos Santos in the second half. Lou City throw. Those players aren't ready yet, by the way. They're just getting up. Thought I saw Mark Forrest, the rookie pro, the tall, lanky forward who scored a big goal in the last regular season game to give the Hounds the regular season crown.
Yeah. Just can't seem to get a hold of the ball here. It seems like purple shirts are all over the place at the moment. And
Brett's just going to go along with this one. What amounts to a Hail Mary. Mertz.
Oh.
He might have actually touched that ball last as it hops in on Hubbard. Forrest is the first man to the scorer's table. The official will check him in. About 5 minutes left of open play. Toch gets rid of it. Oh, a couple of players run into each other. It's Del Piccolo against Dabo. Kyle Morton's going to settle things here. Scooping up that on the short hop. I'm curious about Forrest and who he might replace at this point. We'll all find out together, of course. James bumped into Ownby. He tumbles. Jordan Dover's going to check out, and Mark Forrest will come in, and this might be a nod toward possible penalties. Mark Forrest is the 2-time reigning Patriot League Offensive Player of the Year at Lehigh. He scored, well, over 40 goals at Lehigh in the last couple of seasons. He really turned it on. Okay, so for right now, he's not going to use all 3 subs we're hearing from the Hounds bench now. So Lilly keeping a couple of cards close to his chest.
Yeah, Louisville not in any rush at all here. They're looking to go to penalty kicks or get one more opportunity here. Hounds really have not. You can see right there fatigue and.
Well, it's not going to be a foul called. Maybe advantage given here. Ownby got through a body. Morton made a save. Rebound is in.
There's a goal.
And it's Del Piccolo who gets it on the doorstep on the spilled ball. Morton made the initial save, and Lou City is just minutes away from advancing to yet another East final.
Boy, what a... it's just fatigue, really, there, Matt. You can see players not being able to close down, win the ball, and not being able to get it back. And Louisville did a great job here, just kept turning it on, turning it up, and creating opportunity after opportunity to go forward. Weren't getting really shots, but that one was a...
That Ownby cross got through Forbes. Morton actually bailed him out, but then the Hounds couldn't close out Del Piccolo, as you see there on the replay, and now the Hounds need a goal to force penalties. And they only have a couple of minutes. Well, there'll be a couple more minutes added on for stoppage time, too.
Boy, the ball just went to the right place for Piccolo. He was just running in, and he just bounced up in the right place, and he could just head it right into an open net.
Hail Mary here, Forrest. There'll be a couple of those probably if the Hounds get a chance.
I would have thought Forrest there would have challenged the keeper. But,
Hubbard got it. No team has come in here and beaten the Hounds since May 30th of 2018. It'll just be 1 minute of stoppage time and a foul called against Jam. Greenspan bumped into. Kyle Morton running up. He's going to take this free kick, as you might expect. Morton says, hold on. Here goes the keeper. First full year as a starter. Spins one toward the 18, fended off by Lou City. Forbes right back in, chested down, and swatted clear. Del Piccolo did it that time. Right back in by Forbes. Hounds got back on side, as it turned out, no flag up. Still up for grabs. McMahon to Mertz, it's still in the air. And Hubbard comes in to grab it in his breadbasket.
Yeah, somebody's got to jump there with him, make it difficult for him. It was too easy for Hubbard just to come out and pick it off.
The Hounds are going to need some sort of a scramble here, you'd imagine, to create a chance.
Oh, definitely. Goalkeeper way out of his box then.
Another foul called against, no, it was offside, actually. Offside was the whistle. It's interesting that Jean would get that far up the pitch here.
Oh.
An opportunity. Still nodding around. Off of a Lou head last and in on Hubbard.
And look, goalkeeper's taking a long time, going to drop to the ground, obviously. 1 minute.
1 minute added on. It's probably one more opportunity with the ball for the Hounds to try to tie this up improbably. Hubbard just coughed that up in the middle of the pitch. That gives the Hounds a look here at least. Bunky is the wide to Mertz.
Got to get that ball in the mixer.
Here it comes, but a little too low. Williams clears. Forbes pulls it down. Forbes to James. We're into stoppage time. James, good-looking ball here. Oh, it's cleared off the line, but no, a foul is going to be called either way.
Oh, dear.
Oh, boy.
I don't know what that foul was.
It might have been Dos Santos knocking over a Lou City defender. And, of course, we'll get a second look courtesy of our crew.
I pushed him in
push
the
off,
back.
right, from Dos Santos. Referee Michael Radchuk looks at his watch. He says, we're still going to play a little bit here. He's probably going to give the Hounds a chance to win this ball, and if they don't, it's going to be over.
Well, this guy's wasted a lot of time right now, and
James keeps it alive. Off of Lou City, no, off of James last, and that may have killed it. Ownby's going to throw it in, no. Of course, we'll have the dog and pony show here with the throw in.
I'll take it, you take it. No, nobody. Let the coach take it.
Radchuk pipes on his whistle once to get Lou City to toss it into play. And Louisville City FC has done what no team has done in a year and a half. They escaped Pittsburgh with a win, didn't even take penalties. Paolo Del Piccolo, wearing the captain's armband, heads in the second ball after the Ownby cross was bobbled around. A shocker here at Highmark. The Hounds scored first, Paul, but they couldn't hold on for the win.
Yeah, they needed that second goal, Matt, and they just didn't get it. They had some opportunities, but you needed to put it away to put this Louisville team out, you know what I mean? Make it difficult for them. This team's been in too many finals and championship games right now to ease off at all and know they can do it.
The biggest crowd in Highmark Stadium history for a Hounds game leaves deflated on a cold night in early November. Back to wrap it up on ESPN Plus in 22, The Point in Pittsburgh. Keep it right here.
Introducing the sports book at the one, the only, The Meadows. Place your bets now.
Whatever your sport, whatever your level, getting back to what you love is living proof. Call 412-DOCTORS for an appointment with AHN.
This cinnamon sugar pumpkin latte looks amazing.
Yeah, with this caramel drizzle, it's so good.
Yeah, I wish I were this creative.
Oh, I'm not that creative.
Thanks. Oh, wow. Did you just carve this?
I did, yeah.
That is so cool. Did you make one for me? Oh.
It got busy.
Treat yourself to a new cinnamon sugar pumpkin signature latte. It's all things pumpkin at Dunkin'. America runs on Dunkin'.
Want to bet? Introducing the sports book at the one, the only, The Meadows. Place your bets now.
There's Brian Ownby. He was impactful coming off the bench. Ownby, the veteran USL pro. Paolo Del Piccolo, though, he, in his 100th, how about this, his 100th Louisville City appearance, he scores the winner in extra time on the road at Pittsburgh in the East Semi. I'm Matt Geico alongside Paul Child. We'll go to the highlights. If you're a Hounds fan, there's going to be a few lowlights mixed in, unfortunately, too. But thank you for hanging with us throughout 120 minutes complete. We'll go way back to the start of this one, and this was happier times for sure. Thomas Vankiazil gets on the end of the Canardo Forbes crossbar.
Got a little bit too soon, I think, we scored that goal. It was obviously, you know, but did really well getting on it. And this was a goal that just should not have happened. One player against, you know, two defenders, and, you know, Spencer really doing a job there, just pushing the ball down with his chest and getting an opportunity to get a shot at it. You got to just make it difficult. Obviously, a good, talented player, goal scorer. Here was another great opportunity.
This was an extra time.
Got off lucky there, really, with the ball hitting the post and coming back out. You'd have thought that would have really motivated the Hounds a little bit, but then this one, keeper saves it, and
it hurts because Forbes could have cleared that ball and it went right through his legs on the, it was just a grounded square ball, grounded cross from Ownby.
Sure.
And it ends up getting all the way to the keeper and probably should not have gotten that far. So Lou City advances 2-1 over the Hounds after extra time. They will face, they'll be on the road, we know that, and Indy has the lead in the second half. It's still 1-0 there, 78th minute, so we could see, that's a local rivalry there just up the interstate from Louisville is Indy. So Paul, best season in Hounds history, I think it was. It's just a shame it has to end this soon.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Hounds did a great job all season long.
Yeah.
Great to see so many fans out here. You know, important for the game and in this city. And hopefully they'll all be back next season and we'll be back in the playoffs again.
That's right. Well, for Gene Klein, who wasn't here the last 2 weeks, for Paul Child, for Justin Cohen down at Vista, for Krista Vivo and all the crew here, and for basically everyone who took part in these broadcasts, it's Matt Geica saying goodnight from Highmark Stadium.
Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.